Oh my God. I don't know if we're gonna make it another 2 weeks like this, people. The the left is going completely insane. Remember when it was just one of these women? I think was she the first one? Holy moly! They are going out of their minds. The news just keeps getting worse and worse. Hi guys, it's the Unrealist again. What can I say? I mean, this stuff has been rumored at. I played for you guys the in my last stream the Chinese whistleblower who was basically previewing what he was shown by Rudy Giuliani. So it looks like a lot of what the Chinese whistleblower. Forgive me, I can't remember his name. He's the guy that always appears on with Steve Bannon and you know, his podcast. It's being alleged by Mr. Giuliani, His Honor, the former mayor of New York City, that perhaps Hunter Biden may have a liking for cheese pizza, if you know what I'm talking about. Now, you guys know I've never been too big into the QAnon side of things. I don't delve too far into it. I'm aware of it, you know, as someone who comments on politics and current events. So I'm basically aware of the basics of it. I'm just not my thing, guys. If that's yours, more power to you. It's just not. I don't follow it too closely, but there do seem to be a lot of big time left-wing Democrats who seem to be either involved in that type of behavior or adjacent, you know, CP adjacent. I don't want to get too far into the weeds lest Susan WikiWiki, you know, strike me down with the hammer. But here we go. Let's get into it here. Remember this? When did they perhaps know this was coming? When last week at the town hall debate, when they pushed Donald Trump on this question hard, and it just made no sense why they were doing this. Could this have something to do with it, maybe?
About QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true, and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is a satanic cult run by the deep state.
Study the subject. I'll tell you what I do know about. I know about Antifa, and I know about the radical left, and I know how violent they are and how...
Okay, so as you could see there, Donald Trump, and I think wisely, I said this at the time, wisely, basically, he's like, I don't know what this QAnon, I don't know what they're about. Perfect answer, because it's probably true. I seriously doubt Donald Trump sits there trolling through Reddit and 4chan into the ins and outs of the QAnon movement, or whatever you want to call it, the collection of ideas and beliefs expressed there. So widely, just don't get involved in it. It's not even important, really, in the grand scheme of things politically. He's the president of the United States. But to the degree that he's saying is, well, if they're against, you know, abusing kids, let's just say, that doesn't sound like a bad thing. I mean, so very, very smart not to denounce it, but it's not like he was, he wasn't exactly supporting them. He's basically saying, I don't know enough about this to say anything. So, with that in mind, the story now is, before we go into it, we'll just say the FBI is confirming. They confirmed in a letter to Senator Ron Johnson that they are, in fact, in possession of the Hunter Biden laptop. And here you have Fox News. They're confirming it with their with their law enforcement sources. Let's just read this real quick. The FBI is in possession of the laptop purportedly belonging to Hunter Biden, which contained emails revealing his foreign business dealings, including contacts in Ukraine and China. You know that much. But the thing that Rudy has dropped, I guess last night on Newsmax, it was the first interview, I guess, was that he has brought the materials on the laptop, certain materials that touch on improper, potentially sexual in nature photos, sexually suggestive anyway, at the very least, with underage girls, at least one of which is believed to be an American. Now, we'll get into that. So this is, if you go to the Newsmax site, this is their article on it. Rudy Giuliani to Newsmax, I met police over disgusting Hunter Biden photos. Rudy Giuliani is blowing the lid off the fast-growing Hunter Biden scandal, telling Newsmax TV's Greg Kelly. I didn't know Greg Kelly was with Newsmax now. When did he stop being with Fox News? On Tuesday night that he met with Delaware State Police this week over shocking materials found on the alleged hard drive of Hunter Biden. Giuliani said his discoveries go well beyond influence peddling with foreign powers and alleged kickbacks he has accused former Vice President Joe Biden of engaging in. I mean, let me just play the interview itself. This is the most relevant part of the interview in terms of what we're talking about here.
Let's face it, it's Biden, the father, who's on the ballot in 2 weeks. Anything else other than what we've seen so far tying him to Hunter's business?
Yeah, two major things that I found. In addition to this, which basically says that Biden was getting 50% of the bribe money, which makes sense, actually. There's a well, this is really a very, very sensitive one. There's a text message to his father in which he says the following, and he's discussing his sister-in-law, who for quite some time was his lover. And he says, she told my therapist that I was sexually inappropriate. This would be with a unnamed 14-year-old.
All right, let me stop this right here. Here is the text that Rudy's talking about to Junior. Now, Junior is how they refer to Joe Biden in text messages. Okay? So, here they're talking about no redacted stayed with friend taking her to CCD. For those of you who don't know, that's religious education for Catholic school kids who don't go to, say, Catholic school. So think of it as basically Sunday school. If you're a public school kid, you get your religious instruction if you're a Catholic in what's called CCD classes, and they usually happen on a weekend. It's basically Sunday school, either before or after Mass. It's been years, so I don't even remember if it's usually before or after Mass, or actually sometimes it's even after school during the week. But that's what it is. It's essentially religious instruction for kids who are going to be Catholics. So that redacted there is the person they're talking about in these texts. And here is the text from Hunter Biden. She told my therapist that I was sexually inappropriate with redacted when she says that I FaceTime naked with her, and the reason I can't have her out to see me is because I'll walk around naked smoking crack talking. Now this redacted here, I've heard on another program that Rudy was on, they actually read this and it was cam girls. So are they saying that he walks around the house naked smoking crack while talking to cam girls on FaceTime? When she was pressed, she said that redacted never said anything like that. But the bottom line is that I create and caused a very unsafe environment for the kids. If it stopped there, I would let it go. But then Redacted's friend Redacted, sober coach, and apparently he goes on. So this is Hunter Biden confessing to his father that he's created a very improper and a very dangerous situation for the Biden family kids with his crack smoking and his inappropriate sexual behavior. Yeah, so let's hear more about what Rudy has to say.
Girl, when she says that I FaceTime naked with the unnamed 14-year-old girl, and the reason I can't have her out to see me is because I'll walk around naked smoking crack, talking tom girls on FaceTime. When she was pressed, she said that the unnamed 14-year-old girl never said anything like that, but the bottom line is that I created and caused a very unsafe environment for the kids. This is supported by numerous pictures of underage girls.
So, Mr. Mayor, that's dynamite stuff, and I've seen it.
I turned it over to the.
You turned it over to the Delaware State Police, correct?
Yes, yesterday. Bernie Kerik and I turned it over to the Delaware State Police because we're very uncomfortable with this. So we're very uncomfortable with the fact that these underage girls were not protected.
All right, so that is the meat of the newest allegation. And he then appeared today on Steve Bannon's podcast, and here's what he had to say today.
Context of this. This is a part of a series of text messages that gets back and forth. This is from Hunter to his father. Is that what it is?
Yes, it's from Hunter.
All right, so you got under here. They have more visible here. You can see more. So it says here, no redacted stayed with friend taking her to CCD after mass. Hallie running. Hallie is the name of Beau Biden's widow, who, if you recall, we'll get into that later. So then this is Joe Biden saying, this is Ashley, right? He's talking about the friend of redacted. Hallie is the name of Joe Biden's son, Beau Biden, his widow. So let's read further what's on here. Alright, so remember, more of this was redacted. So she told my therapist I was sexually appropriate with redacted. She says that I FaceTime naked with her, and the reason I can't have her around to see me is because I'll walk around naked, smoking crack, talking tom girls. Okay, so that's not cam girls. I think this is a typo because it looks like an A. I think he's trying to type cam girls. It came out as tam girls or whatever. When she was pressed, she said that redacted never said anything about that. But then Liz's friend Hallie's sober. So again, Hallie is the widow of Beau Biden, and I believe Hallie and Beau Biden only had one daughter. And this will be key when, as you'll see going forward.
Junior, and Junior is one of the nicknames that he uses, particularly in text messages for his father. I think it's Joseph Biden Jr., but in any event, he uses Junior, and you can see also in there when Joe Biden is responding, he refers to himself as Dad. So it's clearly with his dad. And he, do you have it up there? I mean, people can read it. That's what he tells his dad.
Yes.
Notice at the end, even after he denies that he exposed himself, he admits that he was a danger to the children. That right there, that triggered your responsibility. Right there. The man is telling you I'm a danger to the children. You know that he's a crack addict. You've got to know he's smoking crack around him. You have to know it. I mean, I have so many photographs of him smoking crack in the house. So even if we get away from the sexual part of it, we got the fact that he's a habitual crack user. By the way, so was the sister-in-law. So these kids are in a terrible environment.
So let me stop there. I'm not aware of that. If that's correct, that is a bad situation for the kid to be in. I'm fully aware that Hunter Biden was a crack addict. Giuliani is saying that the mother, the widow of Beau Biden, is also smoking crack. That's not good. For that woman's daughter, if that's the case. And as you're going to see, I believe that is who they're talking about here. Hallie and Beau Biden had one daughter, and we'll get into that. So I think that's what we're talking about.
And I don't know what the hell kind of father Biden is to make his kid a drug addict and put him in as a bag man. I don't know what kind of man he is. You don't report it. But we're leaving in a situation like this, and clearly this is not the first time it had happened. But in a situation like this, you kind of leave. You got to leave the roles of father and grandfather and everything like that. Because as you showed this to prosecutors and third parties who looked at it, said this stuff immediately had to be reported immediately, not even a question. What Hunter Biden told his father that the mother was accusing him of is immediately triggers a reporting requirement. Bernie.
All right, so you hear them talking about that reporting requirement that's required. You remember in the last stream when I talked about the warrant that they seized the laptop under, that it was signed by a special agent of the FBI named Joshua Wilson, and I thought it was curious that this Joshua Wilson that signed the warrant to seize the laptop is actually the top child pornography investigator for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And I thought it was bizarre that this is the guy that they would send to retrieve that laptop. This is who would be contacted. Now it all makes sense. So this is before Rudy was even in the picture here. I'm talking about back in December. So I think that's very interesting that the man who signed the grand jury subpoena was CP investigator for the FBI, Joshua Wilson. Look it up yourself if you don't believe me.
100%. I mean, when you read the email, he talks about walking around nude, FaceTiming
cam girls.
Cam girls. So
this person right here, this is the former New York City police chief Bernard Kerik. He was police chief while Rudy Giuliani was mayor of New York City.
With nude while I'm smoking crack. Okay. Well, that's the essence of the text message. That alone, and given the photos we've seen,
it's backed up by a number of photos. Right. We're saying coupled with the photos, it's now okay. So Mayor Giuliani, you see this. Here's where I think there's going to be a disconnect with people that. And remember, I'm not a conspiracy theory guy at all. Don't believe it, because Bannon's dictum is there's no conspiracies, but there's also no coincidences. How, when people think about J. Edgar Hoover and people think about, all Elliot, all this great stuff, how can possibly the FBI, and we now know that Joshua Wilson, at least as purported in the media, that he was the agent that went down there.
All right. So that was Rudy on Bannon's show today, and these are Joe Biden's granddaughters. Now, obviously, these three here, I believe, are Hunter's daughters, so they're not talking about them. This is Natalie Biden, who is now, at the time of this story, when this was earlier this year or the year prior, she was 16 years old. So she would have been 14 years old in the time frame of that text between Joe and his father. And she is the daughter of Hallie and Beau Biden. So I don't know who else they could have been talking about. A 14-year-old girl, right, who's connected to the sister-in-law. Well, he has one sister-in-law that I'm aware of, and that's Hallie. Hallie. I don't know if she still uses the name Biden. Hallie Biden. So that this makes that puts her into the time frame of her being 14 at the time. So this picture comes from the Who Are Joe Biden's Granddaughters? Girls film heartwarming video about their pop. This was a month ago. Here's the video itself. They put this video out here. Joe Biden tweeted it.
I think you guys might have thought we were smaller. Yeah.
Granddaughter interview, take one.
No, this is good.
So these are Hunter's daughters again.
So what don't I know about your grandfather?
And that's Natalie there on the right.
He's always eating ice cream. Usually it's like vanilla
with chocolate sprinkles.
Vanilla.
All right, so you get the idea. This was a video they put out themselves. And here you can see she's identified in terms of her birthday. She's 16 years old. So when that text was from a couple of years ago, she would have been 14. Fits the picture that was drawn. Now, if you don't remember, Hunter Biden was in a scandal because, believe it or not, while he was still apparently in a crack binge, he got fingered for having a sexual affair with the widow after his brother died, Haley. So for a while they were dating, but then while he was dating his dead brother's widow, his dead brother's wife, he was also having an affair with a stripper who he fathered a love child with, who he denied being the father of until she sued him in a paternity suit and proved he was the father when he was forced to take a DNA test. For those of you who just didn't even hear that story, I'll just read it for you real quick. Former Vice President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, fathered a child with an Arkansas woman. She was a stripper, while dating his brother's widow, according to the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. He was a crack fiend at the time, remember? So I mean, this guy was just that type of guy. The newspaper reports a DNA test filed in court Wednesday showed with scientific certainty that Hunter Biden is the father of a child with London Alexis Roberts. The baby was born in August 2018, while Hunter was in a relationship with Hallie Biden, who was previously married to Hunter's older brother, Beau Biden, who died of brain cancer in 2015. Page 6 reports Hunter and Hallie Biden broke up in April after nearly 2 years of dating. Roberts filed a paternity suit in May. The same month, Hunter Biden, 49, married Melissa Cohen, age 33. Welcome aboard, Top Tuber. After just 6 days of dating, Biden denied having an affair with Roberts and agreed to the DNA test to try and prove the child is not his. The Democrat Gazette reports Biden is not expected to challenge the results of the DNA test or the testing process. Okay, so just keep up with this. Hunter Biden was in a romantic relationship with his dead brother's wife for 2 years. Cheated on her with a stripper from Arkansas, fathered a child, denied it was his, then broke off his relationship with his dead brother's wife to marry a woman he'd been dating for only 6 days. This guy's a walking train wreck. I can't believe Biden trusted this guy with his corruption. So here is a timeline of the hard drive, the laptop, because now we have the complicating factor that Rudy's gone and taken us to the Delaware State Police. So we have two tracks now of law enforcement. We have the federal government, the FBI, and now we have the Delaware State Police involved on a separate track. Thread. Information on Hunter Biden hard drive from police source here in Delaware. Number 1, the laptop/hard drive was turned over yesterday to the New Castle County Police Department. That is because New Castle County Police Department has jurisdiction over the Biden family. According to our police source, that police department confirmed, she puts that in capital letters, confirmed that the laptop contained CP. The laptop was then turned over to leftist Delaware attorney Kathy Jennings, who turned it over to the FBI Wilmington office, so it's now back in the hands of the FBI. That is what we know so far. She's the Attorney General of Delaware. She's very tight with Biden. I believe she referred to him as as a mentor. So it's probably a good thing that she turned it over to the FBI Wilmington office, because she wasn't going to do anything with it. So we have another person. This is a reporter for One America News named Chanel. I don't know how to say her last name. Is it Ryan or Ryan? Ryan or... Update. Multiple One American News Network reporters have now viewed the emails, photos, and videos on the Hunter Biden hard drive. We can confirm there appear to be not one, but several images of a minor that justify immediate attention. So this is people other than Rudy Giuliani now who've seen these photos and videos and emails, and she's confirming now that according to what she's seen, there appears to be not one, but several images of a minor. Could that be also Natalie Biden again? Don't know. That justify immediate attention. We have reason to believe the minor is a U.S. citizen. So that U.S. citizen part leads me to believe she may also be talking about Natalie Biden, if that's who in fact they were talking about in that redacted text message. So already you could see
with reports
there's already campaign ads being put out on this. This fast. I'm shocked. Well, maybe am I really?
With reports of child porn on Hunter Biden's laptop, Joe Biden and lapdog Chris Coons are owned by China. China wants Biden in and Trump out. Senile Joe will be Kamala's and China's puppet, and Chris Coons is complicit. Biden's China blackmail scandal is a grave security threat. Save America. Vote Lauren Witzke to keep China from blackmailing Biden and Coons.
Okay, the implication here is that if Rudy Giuliani has all these disgusting, compromising videos and pictures of Hunter Biden doing who knows what with underage girls, China's got these photos and these videos. And unlike Rudy, who's just turning them over to the authorities, that the Chinese are not going to hesitate to pull that trigger. They've probably got at least that laptop's worth of stuff and more material on Hunter Biden. All those trips to China. Who knows what he was doing over there? Who do you think would have been taking those videos? Well, any pictures with Hunter in them? Someone's taking the pictures, right? Who do you think would have been taking those pictures? Someone associated with the Chinese Communist Party. But if it, as much as we're having fun talking about the CP aspect of the that was revealed today, you got to understand that there's more than just Rudy Giuliani and a laptop going on here. You got to understand, Joe, here I go, I keep calling him Bo, the good brother. Hunter Biden, his trouble goes back for years, and it's starting to catch up to him. His business associates, one Bevan Cooney, is already in prison for stuff that he was doing with Joe Biden's son. And his other business partner, Devin Archer, he just had his guilty verdict reinstated. So Devin Archer, he's on his way to prison for stuff he was doing while he was doing business with Hunter Biden. So these guys, it sounds like, or at least in the case of Bevan Cooney, who knows with Archer now that he's facing going to jail, Bevan Cooney, it looks like, is basically saying, hey, I'm the fall guy here. How come I'm in prison and Hunter isn't? Bevan Cooney has flipped. He provided, if you recall, I mentioned this in my previous, my last live stream. Bevan Cooney gave his Gmail account and password to the guy that wrote the book Clinton Cash and Secret Empires, Steve Schweitzer. And now Bevan Cooney, it appears, last night was taken out of his prison cell. He's been taken out of the prison that he was in and moved. Nobody knows where he is. Basically, has Bevan Cooney gone Team America? Has he flipped and snitched on Hunter Biden and had to check in and go and check in to PC? Is he in Punk City because he's snitching on Hunter Biden? Let's read this. Bevan Cooney, the former business associate of former Vice President Joe Biden's son Hunter Biden, who flipped on the Biden family, has been moved from his cell. Sources familiar with the matter confirmed to Breitbart News. Would you look at that? On Tuesday, several days after emails Cooney provided to Breitbart, you know, I gotta tell you, I don't know why that hasn't been reported more in the news. The guy's been moved. He provides the emails and suddenly he's been moved. Incoming super chat from Chris O'Neill. We got to get you more exposure. If Susan blacklisted your channel, we need to tie you in with similar creators and push you on other platforms. Well, thank you, Chris. I hope Susan WikiWiki doesn't go that route, because they've already got 2 dings on me. 1 more, I'm gone. Bevan Cooney, several days after emails Cooney provided to Breitbart News senior contributor Peter Schweitzer and journalist Matthew Tierman became public, federal agents moved him from his cell to protect him. Tierman, who is in contact with members of Cooney's family, told Breitbart News that Cooney was moved from his cell in a federal prison in Oregon around 11 a.m. local time on Tuesday. Tierman said that Cooney spoke with family members multiple times on Tuesday, which he said is much more than usual. Bevan could sense that things had changed with the rise in visibility of his story, Tierman said. Cooney's family stressed to Tierman that they are extremely concerned given the nervousness gleaned from Bevan's reaction this morning, and they would appreciate a sign from the powers that be that Bevan is in protective custody. It is unclear where Cooney has been moved to and in whose custody he currently is. Where'd they take this guy? Clearly, when you don't know where he's at, if he's not in general population, he's in PC somewhere. Breaking, this is the reporter Matthew Tierman. Breaking, hearing that Bevan Cooney has just been removed from the federal facility in Oregon that he's been detained in since last year. Then Peter Schweitzer did the same thing. Breaking, hearing that Bevan Cooney, who has shared his Biden-related emails with us, has been removed from the federal facility in Oregon where he's being detained. The Federal Bureau of Prisons, which falls under the Department of Justice, has not replied to multiple requests for comment on this front. Breitbart News had sent in a request earlier this week to interview Cooney in prison, but that request was denied, as all media interview requests with federal prisoners are currently being denied due to restrictions because of the coronavirus pandemic. Oh, how convenient. They, the Cooney family, believe that alerting the family is the moral thing to do if anyone in government knows anything regarding Bevan's immediate situation, Tierman told Breitbart News. They are hopeful he is fine and permanently out of the Oregon facility, which he had been detained for over a year. They know he has been highly motivated in bringing transparency to all of the things that he was exposing by sharing his emails directly with me and Peter Schweitzer. Given that he was supposed to be released in the coming weeks, although that he had been recently pushed back without explanation, his motivation lay purely in seeing justice delivered and warning America about what he had a front row seat to witness. Remember what the Bevan Cooney emails showed. as much as they're trying to say that the laptop stuff is Russian disinformation, Bevan Cooney is an actual participant in Hunter Biden's business activities, and he's providing emails straight from his own account. So they can't say that's a Russian disinformation campaign. These are one of his associates providing direct confirmation that from as far back as 2011 into 2013, Hunter Biden was being sought after by these Chinese Communist Party people to get access to the White House. They remember the emails that I mentioned in that previous stream. They were saying that their goal was to get access to the White House through Hunter Biden. Okay, so the first story published on Breitbart News last week by Schweitzer and author Seamus Brunner detailed how Hunter Biden and his associates secured high-level White House meetings for Chinese Communist Party-connected elites visiting Washington from China. Other emails that surfaced on one news network showed a deeper relationship between the Bidens and the ex-wife of the former Moscow mayor, Elena Baturina. She's the the widow of the former mayor of Moscow, the friend of Putin, shall we say. More emails surfaced Monday in another Breitbart News report showing how Hunter Biden's business associate viewed his relationship with his father, Joe Biden, a direct administration pipeline, as a form of currency to trade on and make more money. So there's been an update. A Bureau of Prisons spokesman declined to comment on the matter. For safety and security reasons, we do not discuss specific inmates' conditions of confinement, the spokesperson said in an email on Wednesday morning after publication of this article. But let's go into this the last Breitbart News report involving emails provided by Bevan Cooney and why probably they moved them. Because this is starting to tie Joe Biden indirectly, guys. Exclusive. Biden defectors' emails reveal Hunter's associates viewed direct pipeline to administration as currency. So these guys were trading on Hunter Biden's name and connection to the vice president. Hunter Biden's business associates spoke candidly in emails about Hunter Biden's role in the business, particularly as it related to foreign ventures, apparently viewing the Biden name as a form of currency and bragging that they had a direct pipeline to the Obama-Biden administration. In another email, Hunter Biden's associates touted Hunter's access to the White House. Remember, this emails that I'm talking about is not from the laptop. These are being provided by Hunter Biden's former business associate, Bevan Cooney, who's in prison for activities that he was doing while he was in business with Hunter Biden. In another email, Hunter Biden's associates touted Hunter's access to the White House and contrasted his willingness to take on risk with that of Chris Hines, then Secretary of State John Kerry's stepson, and a close friend of Biden and Archer, who was uncomfortable with some of their potential partnerships. In October 2013, Hunter Biden's associates, including Devon Archer, discussed which one of their corporate vehicles would be appropriate for a new deal they were working on. Archer noted their need to use a Rosemont Seneca SPV, also known as a special purpose vehicle, because Rosemont Capital was too close to the Hines family and because using a special purpose vehicle could bring Hunter into the mix. Archer explained his desire to leverage Hunter more in a way that didn't involve Hines, who Archer called much more risk-averse. So they're saying, hey, Hunter's down for this. Chris Hines, Kerry's stepson, yeah, he's not comfortable with what we're doing with these foreign people giving us money. But hey, Hunter Biden is our guy. He doesn't care. He's not risk-averse. So let's create this special purpose vehicle because we don't want, Rosemont Capital, Seneca, too close to Chris Hines. He doesn't want to be involved with these shady deals with foreign people. So, to leverage Hunter into the mix, we'll just create these basically shell corporations. So let's read into this. Hunter Biden Hunter Biden, Devin Archer, risk averse. So this email is from Bevan Cooney. And it's to who? That part is redacted. Forwarding a message from Devin Archer. That's Hunter Biden's business partner. And he CC'd Bevan Cooney on this email. Haven't done it yet. Devin Archer, redacted, wrote, Arch, were you able to tee up John for Jason's? And I guess Devin Archer said, tomorrow, I'm not in the city today. Are you two pins hooking up for a cocktail in the city tonight? Sent from his iPhone to Devin Archer. And then Devin Archer responds, always, I never post biographical info without imagery. I will cut and paste Mr. Cooney's fine depiction of our esteemed colleague. Should we add a headshot? This is from Bevan to Devin. Devin Archer, chairman, friends with a lot of rich and influential people. All-American Yale lacrosse, former male model, photographed by Bruce Weber, love to fire. So here they're saying that, hey, this Devin Archer, he's friends with a lot of rich and influential people. That's his main claim to fame. No reason to have Heinz in your bio. Cheddar cheese ball move. Then he goes, done. I guess they took Heinz out of the bio. Done. Got the mission. Operation Ketchup will be watered down. Hunts only from now on. So they're calling it Operation Ketchup because obviously the guy's name is Heinz. It's not just a coincidence. His mother is Teresa Heinz Kerry, and she's the heiress of the Heinz Ketchup fortune. Yes, John Kerry married a billionaire, or a near billionaire. I don't know if she's a billionaire or a near billionaire. After the Heinz, she was married to the Heinz, the heir of the Heinz family fortune. He died, and obviously she inherited it. So they're calling it Operation Ketchup when they took his name off. So here's Devin Archer's response. Subject, Ray, spin media term sheet. So here they're discussing how to spin this. Agreed. I also have more autonomy with that company as I own it with Hunter. So they're saying because the Heinz character is not in the mix, that Devin Archer has more autonomy with it. It's just him and Hunter. And he's willing to take on risk, whereas with Rosemont Capital, Chris is much more risk averse. Hunter will work if we need him to as well. I'm actually thinking we move all of my bios and everything across the board to Rosemont Seneca Partners and get any lift from that. I would also like to take Chris out of my bio across the board in our materials. So they want to clean. Apparently, Devin Archer is too shady for Chris Heinz's liking. And so they're trying to basically purge all mention of Chris Heinz and any photos of Chris Heinz from Devin Archer's bios on the Rosemont Seneca website, I guess. So here's the response. Would be good to put some honey in Hunter's pocket. Honey in Hunter's pocket is money. Honey, money, get it? So here's the interesting, he goes, very interesting. Let's discuss today the putting of the honey in Hunter's pocket. One subtlety is that I think we want to do with Rosemont Seneca special purpose vehicle. It won't make a difference on economics other than we bring Hunter into the mix a little, but without a commitment. I want to leverage Hunter more, and he's a good guy for us to include. So this Jason Galanis gets into the picture here now. Now he writes, guys, Adam brought me a deal called Spin Media. His former employee is the newly appointed CEO. We have an inside track to take it over for $0 plus a forward conditional commitment to $20 million. We would not ever fund the $20 million, however, given the plan of the CEO to bring headcount from 140 to 70. Dale Strang is currently CEO of Viximo, the largest social game distribution platform connecting game developers with social networks outside of Facebook. Prior to joining Viximo, Strang most recently served as president and co-founder of venture-backed online ad network 5to1.com. Before 5to1, Strang spent 3 years as an executive vice president and general manager of IGN Entertainment, where he led the company to more than 300% revenue growth over 2+ years, and was a member of the executive team that presented and sold the company to Fox Interactive Media in 2005. Before IGN, he served 8 years as executive vice president and publisher of Ziff Davis Media. So they're basically talking about this guy's bio, this Dale Strang. The company does about $48 million a year. It owns a large number of sites. Take a look, and he gives the website for Spin Media. They also own Spin Magazine. There was some music contacts that I could exploit on this. The opportunity I'm bringing our partnership is to go in and obtain 50% of the business and control day one, based on a future promise to invest that is highly conditional. The business plan would be to get control and take it public in an S1. Comps are in the 5 to 6 times revenue range. Let your hamster math calculate that for you. So they're talking about bringing it in an S1 offering, and they're looking at 5 times 6 revenue is basically the market cap of the company that they want to value it at. What we need, as you will see from Weiss's email below, is Rosemont to front it. We could do a Rosemont special purpose vehicle to ring fence it. Adam can't do it without us. 150 plus million in paper to cut up if done right. So they're talking about putting that honey in Hunter's pocket, and this is the deal they propose to do it with. He's saying that this is a $150 million deal to chop up and presumably put some honey in in Hunter's pocket. Let me know. I will do all the work. The Greek has a lot of bandwidth. So this is from Stephen Weiss, another business associate. These are all the guys that are in the laptop emails. So these are the guys. They're in Bevan Cooney's emails. So you could see that for them to claim that the laptops are Russian disinformation and a fraud, well, all the people that are sending those emails and being CC'd on those emails are here in what we know are the genuine Bevan Cooney emails. And here they're being very open about Hunter's role. Hunter gets the honey in his pocket because he's Joe Biden's son. Read it and love it. Once I have your final comments, I will forward it to Devin for his approval. Now, Devin is Devin Archer. He's the guy out of the pair between Hunter and Devin. He's the guy that actually, puts the deals together. So that's what's going on there. Now, the other news that they're trying to cover up is the fact that the mayor of Moscow's wife paid Hunter Biden $3.5 million, and as I revealed in the last stream, we now know why. Hunter and Devin were washing money for her. She's a Russian oligarch. She's behind a wall of sanctions right now. You're not supposed to bring her money to the United States. You're not supposed to do business with her. This is Yelena Baturina. She is the richest female Russian oligarch in Russia. According to U.S. Treasury documents provided by the Senate Finance and Homeland Security Committees, Hunter Biden was paid $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife. The report by the Senate Finance and Homeland Security Committees was released last month, and it was devastating. Hunter Biden received a $3.5 million wire transfer from Yelena Baturina, the wife of the former mayor of Moscow. Until today, we didn't know why Yelena Baturina paid Hunter millions of dollars. One American News reporter, Jack Posobiec, has the answer. Jack Posobiec met up with Matthew Tierman. That's the guy that got the emails from Bevan Cooney, the guy that I was talking about that's in prison. The investigative reporter who received a tranche of emails from Hunter Biden's associate, Bevan Cooney. According to emails and documents, Yelena Baturina laundered funds into the U.S. in avoidance of sanctions. Devin Archer claimed the firm received $200 million. And you can see the email here where they have the memo where on page 2 of it, this is basically a summary of a meeting that was going on. Here, Archer basically admits that they have $200 million of this Russian oligarch's money sitting in their funds. Mr. Archer further discussed the possible sale of his company and the revenues that might be realized, which he said would be a big liquidity event for him, as well as his connections with Bohai, that's the Chinese firm that they were doing business with, which he said was sponsored by major banks and institutional investors in China. He also discussed his client relationship with Yelena Baturina, who he said had invested over $200 million in his various investment funds. Mr. Archer emphasized that he had ample funding, but that the investors wanted to be efficient. So this is clearly a pay-for-play scandal going on here, guys. They're laundering the money for a Russian oligarch. And finally, we have Joe Biden responding to this. Someone has finally asked him about it in some detail. So let's see how he's dealing with it. It's a last-ditch effort to smear me and my family. There's no basis to this. Joe Biden breaks silence on Hunter's laptop. I actually think I might have video on this. Let me see. Here we go. Now, watch as they try. I think when he started getting questions on this is a local news reporter. You might even be able to hear in the background, if this is the clip I think it is, of Joe Biden's staffer trying to end the interview. Like, okay, that's all the time we have. They tried to end it, and I guess Joe Biden just talks through it. Let's see if that's the clip. But anyway, here's what we have.
Wisconsin's Republican Senator Ron Johnson put out a statement on Homeland Security letterhead saying Hunter Biden, together with other Biden family members, profited off the Biden name. Is there any legitimacy to Senator Johnson's claims?
None whatsoever. This is the same garbage Rudy Giuliani, Trump's henchman. It's the last-ditch effort in this desperate campaign to smear me and my family. Even the man who served with him on that committee, a former nominee for the Republican Party, said there's no basis to this. And, you know, and the vast majority of the intelligence people have come out and said there's no basis at all. Ron should be ashamed of himself.
So that's how Joe Biden's he's just gonna deny. Now notice, he's not denying any specific allegations. He's just giving the general, it's all bunk. Here's the problem. So if you're going to be like Politico and try to spin this, the Hunter Biden story is Russian disinfo, dozens of former intel officials say, notice the key word here, former intel officials, no current intel officials, no evidence provided why that it is, just former intel officials say. And those 50 former senior intelligence officials all just happen to be the same ones endorsing Joe Biden. What a shock. You mean it's the same ones who've been trying to pull this Russia collusion nonsense for the past 4.5 years? More than 50 former senior intelligence officials have signed on to a letter outlining their belief, notice the word, former, belief, that the recent disclosure of emails allegedly belonging to Joe Biden's son has all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation. So the 3 key words in this story that Politico wrote is former, believe, and earmarks. Notice, no current intelligence officials, no proof or evidence or intelligence that it's a Russian disinformation campaign, merely the earmarks of a Russian information operation. So, because it has information they don't like, clearly it's Russians. But here, you know, just the problem with that is, here's another guy. This is today, after the Director of National Intelligence came out and declared openly yesterday that they have no intelligence to indicate that it's a Russian disinformation campaign and that therefore the laptop is genuine. Here's this clown trying to say that it's Russian disinformation. Like, where's his source? What's his source? Nope, just because he's claiming it is.
Is taking a page from the desperation chapter of the dictator's playbook. His other October surprises have not worked. The Durham report still hasn't come out. It's not going to come out till after the election.
So this is the Palm Beach County State Attorney Dave Arenberg. Notice he has no sources for it. He just says it's Russian disinformation with no basis.
The investigation into the unmasking and spying of his campaign has been a big nothing burger. Hunter Biden's laptop, that whole thing has been fizzling. It looks like it's tied to Vladimir Putin in Moscow. So he's stuck. And so that's why this all sounds eerily familiar. Barbara's right. This is what we saw with the president of Ukraine, where he's demanding an announcement of an investigation because he knows the power of that. Even though it got him impeached, he knows that that's how he got elected in 2016 when James Comey came out at the 11th hour to announce a reopening of the investigation into Hillary's emails. But this time, it's not going to happen. And if it does happen, it's not going to work because first, there are very...
All right, so there's the attempt to poo-poo or dismiss information as Russian disinformation, even though the official head of the United States intelligence community has come out and said we have no intelligence indicating that. We've given no such intelligence to Congress, certainly not to Adam Schiff, and any claim to otherwise just ain't so. Let's go into that. Feds confirm Biden emails are authentic. Right? So this is from Zero Hedge. In yet another death blow to Adam Schiff and the 50 former senior intelligence officers, Russia claims the FBI and Department of Justice have told a Fox News producer that they do not believe that Hunter Biden's laptop and its contents are part of a Russian disinformation campaign. So this is from Sean Langiel. Breaking. Senior federal law enforcement officials tell Jake Gibson FBI and Department of Justice concur with Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe is the Director of National Intelligence. That Hunter Biden's laptop and the emails in question weren't part of a Russian disinformation campaign. Number two, the FBI does have possession of the Hunter Biden laptop in question. Additionally, a federal law enforcement official also confirmed to Fox News' Martha McCallum that the emails are, quote, authentic. So the president's son, Donald Trump Jr., he asked a question earlier last night, if the FBI had the laptop all along, why did they let Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats impeach Donald Trump for literally being 100% right about Joe Biden? FBI leadership is corrupted. Don Jr. is right. Had this evidence come to light during the impeachment process, pretty much would have ended it. Because in essence, it would have proven Donald Trump was right. In essence, it would have provided the evidence to Smoking Gun when he said, hey, remember the whole thing was about a phone call with the newly elected president of Ukraine when he said, this Joe Biden character, he claims that he said he told your predecessor to fire this guy or he won't get $1 billion. Maybe you want to look into that and see if there's something to it. And here you have Joe Biden, Hunter Biden collecting money, and the Burisma people telling him to get the Obama administration to do exactly that. Well, that would have been exculpatory evidence. So here's Tucker Carlson indicating that he has also received non-public information proving that it was Hunter's laptop.
This afternoon, we received non-public information that proves conclusively this was indeed Hunter Biden's laptop, period. There are materials on the hard drive of that computer that no one but Hunter Biden could have known about or have replicated. This is not a Russian hoax. Again, we're saying this definitively. We're not speculating. The laptop in question is real. It belonged to Hunter Biden. So there's no excuse for not asking about it. None. But they didn't ask about it. It was a cover-up in real time. No matter what happens in the election next month, the American media will never be the same after this. It cannot continue this way. It is too dishonest.
So, Tucker Carlson claims he's received independent confirmation that it's real. Here we have the actual signature of the MacBook, the $85 repair bill. You can't make this up. For the want of an $85 repair bill, this tripped up the Bidens. Here's the signature from April of 2019 on the $85 receipt. You can see here, $85, quantity 1, item, laptop. Here's Hunter's signature. Here's Hunter's signature a few months later from his paternity suit with the Arkansas stripper, November 2019. Here he signs it down here, Robert Hunter Biden. And you can see the letters, yeah, it's kind of like the same letter pattern here. This one is more formal. Just goes off in a line. This one is just scribble. But you can see kind of the R. He has that same kind of, that back for the R. He's got the same A. Or whatever letter that is. And he's got that same kind of loop between the names here. Here's the loop. So let's read this. Meanwhile, the Delaware computer repair shop owner who believes that Hunter dropped off 3 MacBook Pros for data recovery has a signed work order bearing Hunter's signature. When compared to the signature on a document in his paternity suit, while one looks more formal than the other, they are a match. Going back to the 50 former senior intelligence officials in their latest Russia fixation, one has to wonder, do they think Putin was able to compromise Biden's former business associate, Bevan Cooney, who gave investigative journalist Peter Schweitzer his Gmail password, revealing that Hunter and his partners were engaged in an influence peddling operation for rich Chinese who wanted access to the Obama administration? Did Putin further hack Joe Biden in 2011 to make him take a meeting with a Chinese delegation with ties to the Chinese Communist Party, arranged by Hunter's group 2 years before they secured a massive investment of Chinese money? The implications boggle the mind. Here's the clarifying sentences from the 50 former senior intelligence officials that exposes the utter farce of it all. While the letter's signatories presented no new evidence that said their national security experience had made them deeply suspicious that the Russian government played a significant role in this case, and cited several elements of the story that suggested the Kremlin's hard hand at work. If we are right, they added, this is Russia trying to influence how Americans vote in this election, and we believe strongly that Americans need to be aware of this. Notice, if we are right, it would appear these former intel officials are not aware of the current intel official views confirmed by the Director of National Intelligence Ratcliffe yesterday that Hunter Biden's laptop is not part of some Russian disinformation campaign. So, this guy here, I don't know if you've seen him. This is Sagar Enjeti. He does a podcast with Crystal Ball. It's pretty good, actually. He's the conservative half, and she's more the leftist Democrat side of the show. But it's still pretty good because they're both at least intellectually honest, and they both seem to admit when their side is in the wrong. Sagar here, he tweeted, "I've read a lot of stories about the process through which the Hunter Biden story has been handled inside newsrooms, and not one yet that has said these critical words. They are not true." So as much as they're trying to spin it, no one has been able to come up with a shred of evidence that it's not Hunter's laptop and that the emails and images in question aren't real. There's an amusing picture of Vladimir Putin with Chuck Schumer. Is Chuck Schumer a Russian agent now? He shared some bagels with Putin. So yeah, I think I just showed you the photo of Hunter Biden's signature on the paperwork for the computer repair shop. There's another guy who's goes more into detail with it. See if I can find that link somewhere in this story. I thought I had it. Basically, they're just showing the picture of the signature. So we just saw that. So this story came up in the National Pulse. Biden, corruption, and Ukraine's election interference against Trump. People are forgetting, this is unrelated to Hunter, is that the Democrats, during the Ukraine impeachment thing, they got caught. They were colluding with Ukraine in an effort to prevent Trump from getting elected and make trouble for him. If you remember the infamous Alexandra Chalupa, Yes, that is her name. She's a Ukrainian American named Alexandra Chalupa. She was the one that was doing the work on behalf of the Democrat National Committee and the Hillary Clinton campaign to dig up dirt or manufacture dirt against Donald Trump with certain members of the Ukrainian government and their delegation to the U.S. Embassy in Washington, D.C. In 2014, the Obama administration assigned Joe Biden to oversee Ukraine policy. From that position, he likely received a portion of the payola his son Hunter extracted from Burisma, one of the country's largest energy companies, for firing an unfriendly prosecutor. The political operation, though, was bigger than just a few $1 million funneled to the Biden family. In 2016, Ukraine interfered against Donald Trump. This is not speculation, guys. This is fact. In the American presidential election, it did so by launching a false Russian flag operation against the Trump campaign through Fusion GPS, CrowdStrike, and Alexandra Chalupa. After a telephone conversation in which President Trump thanked Ukraine's leader for investigating this corruption, the head of Obama's Ukraine policy at the National Security Council, who had overseen the Chalupa part of the political dirty trick, filed a whistleblower complaint leading to Trump's impeachment. The following is an excerpt from the short ebook, The Russia Lie, that details Ukraine's election interference against Trump at the behest of the Obama administration. So that's something you may want to take a read for yourself. Go to the National Pulse or just search in your web browser Biden corruption and Ukraine's election interference against Trump, and you'll see how far back this goes. The other thing that you have to keep in mind, that we were talking about the cheese pizza aspect of the Hunter Biden revelations. Remember that in the report that was released by the Senate committee, was it 2 weeks ago now, or is it 3 weeks? Joe Biden's son received millions of dollars from the wife of the Russian politician that was Elena Baturina, but he was also linked to human trafficking in a prostitution ring in Eastern Europe. Remember that part of the report that seems to have been forgotten. A U.S. Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs has released an 87-page report on 23rd September. It has linked Hunter Biden, son of Joe Biden, of sending money to Russian and Ukrainian women living in the United States. The report details the work Hunter did with a gas company located in Ukraine. So why was Hunter sending money to Russian and Ukrainian women living in the United States who have been linked to a trafficking ring? In the report, the details of Hunter Biden's work for Burisma Holdings, a gas company in Ukraine, was described. Okay, that part you know. Obama administration was aware. Here we go. Hunter's connections with the human trafficking ring. According to the report, Hunter sent thousands of dollars to women from Russia and Ukraine living in the United States. A footnote of the report claimed that there was a potential association with prostitution. Some recipients of those funds are Ukrainian and Russian citizens. The records note that it is a documented fact that Hunter Biden has sent funds to non-resident alien women in the United States who are citizens of Russia and Ukraine and who have subsequently wired funds they have received from Hunter Biden to individuals located in Russia and Ukraine. The records also note that some of these transactions are linked to what appears to be Eastern European prostitution or human trafficking ring. So that's the exact quote from the report. This is a report by the Senate, not Rudy Giuliani. Hunter got millions of dollars from Russian oligarchs. The report suggests that Biden formed significant and consistent financial relationships with the corrupt oligarch Mykola Zlochevsky. His firm made millions of dollars from that association while Joe Biden was vice president of the United States. Rosemont Seneca Thornton, an investment firm co-founded by Hunter Biden, received $3.5 million in a wire transfer from Elena Baturina. It was alleged in the report that she received illegal construction contracts from her husband, who was then mayor of Moscow. The report says that Hunter Biden and his family members and Archer have received millions of dollars from foreign nationals with questionable backgrounds. Okay, so add that to the CP aspect and the blackmail aspect. If Hunter Biden is paying off Russian and Ukrainian sex trafficking ring people, tell me that's not blackmail material. So it looks like both China and Russia have potential compromat on the Bidens. Exclusive. New photo shows Hunter Biden's indicted business partner, Devon Archer, meeting with Joe Biden in his vice president's office. Hunter's lawyers later told Burisma to take the photo down. Remember, Joe Biden had said that he never spoke to Hunter about his business dealings. Well, let's say that was 100% accurate. I don't believe it, but let's say it was even 100% true. He never spoke to Hunter about any of his business dealings. Well, what difference does it make if he's talking to Hunter's partner and the guy that actually does the work, Devon Archer? Devon Archer's the guy that's facing going to prison. So if he didn't speak to Hunter, but he's speaking to Devon Archer. I don't think Devon Archer went to his office for a social call. A new photo of Hunter Biden's business partner, Devon Archer, meeting with, and notice this is a picture on, it's appearing on RT, which is a Russian government, a state-funded television network. So that lets you know, yeah, Russia's got the goods on Joe. So this is a photo of him meeting with Vice President Joe Biden in his office in 2014. It was released today. The image and another from Joe Biden's ceremonial office ran in a Russia Today broadcast in 2014. That's a shot across the bow, people, because RT is funded by the Russian state, and they released a picture that Biden and Devon Archer got off the Burisma website. The room in this photo, which ran in the Russia Today segment, appears to be the vice president's ceremonial office. Here's another photo of the vice president's ceremonial office. Documents released last week by the New York Post show that Vadim Pozarsky, an advisor to the board of Burisma, allegedly sent Hunter Biden on April 17th, 2015, about a year after Hunter joined the Burisma board at a reported salary of up to $50,000 a month. The attorneys for Rosemont Seneca Partners, Hunter Biden and Devon Archer's company, later wrote Burisma and told them to remove the photo from their webpage. So let's read that email. See if I can make it a little bigger. From Eric Schwerin, subject, request, Ray Burisma, to Hunter Biden and Devon Archer. Hey guys, there's apparently a photo of Devon and the vice president on Burisma's website. I can't see it. The website isn't working very well right now. But Dimitra, vice president counsel, called and asked that we tell Burisma they need to take it down. Legally, they aren't comfortable with the vice president's picture being up on the site as what seems like an endorsement. Are either of you in touch with them to ask them to do so? Or is there someone you want me to call? Dimitra or someone from over there may call directly, but she asked if we could do it, and she didn't know who to call. Let me know if there was something I could do. Guys, this is the vice president's lawyer saying that they aren't comfortable with the vice president's picture being up on the site and what seems like an endorsement. Are they trying to say that Joe Biden wasn't aware of his son's business when they're basically directing Burisma to take his picture off of the site, off of their website? Here you can see this is an email from Eric Schwerin of Rosemont that he got contacted by the vice president's counsel to tell Burisma to take his picture off their site. If he doesn't know about about his son's business, how does he know that he's? How does he know that his son's is doing business with Burisma? How does he know that Burisma's got his picture up on their website? He doesn't know about it. So yeah, he didn't. Maybe he didn't talk to Hunter. They certainly did. He certainly put his people in contact with this Eric Schwerin to tell the Burisma people to get his picture off there. He's not comfortable. He's not comfortable. Well, if he's not comfortable with his picture on their website, how is he comfortable with his son getting money from them? This is insane. So you have the situation now where the New York Post, which was the first news outlet to kind of break this story, at least the newest iteration of it, they still can't post on Twitter. But apparently, Louis Farrakhan, Richard Spencer, CNN contributor Richard Spencer, remember, the dictator of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, even O.J. Simpson have more freedom on Twitter right now than the New York Post does. The New York Post, one of the oldest newspapers in the United States, they're more than 200 years old. You know, these guys could. O.J. is a well, he was not convicted of murder, but most people believe he's a murderer. You have Nicolas Maduro, a dictator. Louis Farrakhan, even the Ayatollah. Look at that. The Ayatollah of Iran. He can post tweets. And Richard Spencer there, CNN contributor Richard Spencer, he could tweet, but not the New York Post. This is so. Here's Louis Farrakhan making a tweet. Here's Richard Spencer tweeting. What's Richard Spencer saying these days? Perhaps the greatest irony of Trump is that the man labeled a white nationalist by the mainstream media has done more than any other Republican in winning over African Americans and Hispanics to the Republican cause. The GOP is the white people's party no more. So this is Richard Spencer expressing his displeasure that the Republican Party is no longer the white man's party. You can't make this up. Here's the Ayatollah tweeting. Muslim nations will never accept the humiliation of compromising with the Zionist regime. If the U.S. thinks they can solve the region's problem in this way, they are wrong. The status of any regime that negotiates with the usurping Zionist regime will be shaken before its nation. So he tweeted yesterday, the Ayatollah. O.J. Simpson, well, he tweeted about a story that, well, I guess we'll touch on briefly in a little bit. He was talking about Jeffrey Toobin's situation. What did O.J. have? You know, Toobin had a really bad day when he's getting dragged by O.J. Simpson.
Damn, Jeffrey Toobin. At least Pee Wee Herman was in an X-rated movie theater. I'm just saying.
Okay, you got O.J. dragging Jeff Toobin. So this is how they're getting back at Rudy today. They're releasing this this image from, I guess this is going to be Borat's next movie, where they got an actress to pretend to be, was it Borat's daughter, or is she actually Borat's daughter? And you can see there, Rudy's on the bed. He's got his hand, looks like, going into his pants. So I guess this woman pretended to come on to Rudy, and she invited him to go back up to their room or something. And I guess Rudy thought that he was about to get lucky or something, and then Borat runs into the room. Apparently this is a scene from the movie where they trick Rudy and he starts screaming that she's 15, she's 15. So they were trying to equate some kind of moral equivalence to this. First of all, the woman's not 15. She's an actress that's 24 years old. Apparently, Rudy was not under the impression that she was 15. First of all, she was presenting herself as a reporter, and as far as I know, this would have appeared to have been a fully consensual situation where Rudy's lying on his back. He's not forcing her to do anything. He's like, it looks like Rudy's just waiting. He's like, okay, if this is going down, I'm game. So the people that are trying to present this as some kind of disqualifying thing with Rudy, how is this not, in essence, revenge porn? So here's the story. Rudy Giuliani faces questions after compromising scene. Well, what's compromising? As far as I know, is Rudy even married anymore? Didn't he get divorced? I believe he's single, so I don't know what's compromising. A young woman comes on to him. It looks like Rudy was good to go. The reputation of Rudy Giuliani could be set for a further blow with the release of highly embarrassing footage in Sacha Baron Cohen's follow-up to Borat. In the film released on Friday, the former New York mayor and current personal attorney to Donald Trump is seen reaching into his trousers and apparently touching his genitals while reclining on a bed in the presence of the actor playing Borat's daughter, who is posing as a TV journalist. Following an obsequious interview for a fake conservative news program, the pair retreat at her suggestion for a drink to the bedroom of a hotel suite. So she asked him to go back to the bedroom of the suite, which is rigged with concealed cameras. After she removes his microphone, Giuliani, 76, can be seen lying back on the bed, fiddling with his untucked shirt. Well, you know, some of you in chat are saying he was tucking in his shirt, and it looks like he actually was tucking in his shirt. They are then interrupted by Borat, who runs in and says, "She's 15, she's too old for you." So, I don't understand what's the gotcha here. Their clothes, they were both clothed. Rudy is not touching her at all, so you can't say it was a Me Too situation. She invited him to the bedroom and was apparently flirting with him. So I'm still trying to figure out how this is bad for Rudy. As far as I know, he's not cheating on a wife. If he is, okay, that's his business. That would reflect badly on him, maybe. But that's about all I could think of. But anyway, let's move on to the next thing. Got my tab game going on today, guys, so I don't have to have them all open at once. Wow, see that? I made all those tabs disappear, guys. Now watch the magic as I open 37 tabs at once. Yeah, that was scary. So I think I mentioned the, I'll just briefly mention the Jeffrey Toobin situation. People having fun with their headlines on this news flash. New Yorker writer, CNN pundit suspended for pleasuring self on company Zoom call. Yeah, you can't make this crap up. Jeffrey Toobin apparently was on a business meeting, a Zoom call with his colleagues at the New Yorker. And at some point during the call, I mean, I don't know how else to put this, guys. Jeffrey Toobin, he hits the mute button on his laptop, and he claims he thought that this meant that the camera would shut off. Then he proceeds to undress, and he starts cranking his junk right there in the Zoom call, in the meeting with his work colleagues. They see this all. This is insane. I cannot make this up. And the first news outlet that I saw you could come out with this was Motherboard. So I'll go with their story. New Yorker suspends Jeffrey Toobin for masturbating on Zoom call. The call was an election simulation featuring New Yorker All-Stars. Toobin apologized for the, quote, embarrassingly stupid mistake. The New Yorker has suspended reporter Jeffrey Toobin for masturbating on a Zoom video chat between members of the New Yorker and WNYC Radio last week. Toobin says he did not realize his video was on. I made an embarrassingly stupid mistake, believing I was off camera. I apologize to my wife, family, friends, and coworkers. Understand, the meeting, he knew the meeting was still going on. He just started cranking it during the meeting. That was deliberate. He's admitting it was deliberate. He was not under the impression that the meeting was over. If you can't wait till your business meeting is over to start whacking off, you need to get yourself checked. I believed I was not visible on Zoom. I thought no one on the Zoom call could see me. I thought I had muted the Zoom video, he added. Two people who were on the call told Vice separately that the call was an election. I guess he thought it was an erection simulation? I don't know. Featuring many of the New Yorker's biggest stars. Jane Mayer was playing establishment Republicans. Evan Osnos was Joe Biden. Jelani Cobb was establishment Democrats. Masha Gessen played Donald Trump, and Andrew Morantz was the far right. Sue Halpern was left-wing Democrats, and Dexter Filkins was the military, and Jeffrey Toobin playing the courts. There were also a handful of other producers on the call from the New Yorker and WNYC. Both people who spoke on condition of anonymity in order to speak freely noted that it was unclear how much each person saw, but both said that they saw Toobin jerking off. The two sources described a juncture in the election simulation when there was a strategy session and the Democrats and Republicans went into their respective breakout rooms for about 10 minutes. At this point, they said, it seemed like Toobin was on a second video call. The sources said that when the groups returned from their breakout rooms, Toobin lowered the camera. The people on the call said they could see Toobin touching his penis. Toobin then left the call. Moments later, he called back in, seemingly unaware of what his colleagues had been able to see, and the simulation continued. The funny part is that the call went on. New Yorker spokesman Natalie Rabe said that Jeffrey Toobin had been suspended while we investigate the matter. What's to investigate? He admitted what he did. He said it was deliberate. BuzzFeed Politics wonders why more people haven't been caught masturbating during work Zoom calls. Don't these guys understand? There's no difference between a virtual meeting and a live meeting. You couldn't do this. I said this on Twitter at various points. You couldn't even do this in the old days just on a regular telephone conference calls. Forget the days of video. Just imagine you're on a phone call with some guy and you hear him pleasuring himself. You think that would fly? That wouldn't have flown 20 years ago. You can't crank it while you're in a business meeting. It's sexual harassment. They're trying to excuse deviancy here. You would never accept it. So here's Andrew Egger saying that this is one of those rare cases when the article is actually even more cursed than the headline. So basically, people were killing BuzzFeed for trying to excuse this as somehow normal. Can't be the only person. How hasn't this happened already? I mean, I can't. This guy Caleb Howe, I can't even process that flocking the bishop during a word call is so obvious to people that they're surprised about it not happening. Because the Daily Caller dragged him by saying, retweet if you've never masturbated on a work Zoom call. Christy Baker, most of us already assumed a lot of y'all media types were doing this. Toobin is getting a pass because he's a lib. So here's this Ellen Carmichael pointing out the obvious. Normalizing sexual harassment with no consequences. Hilarious. Amelia Hammy, this is a very bad take, an extremely bad take, even by BuzzFeed standards. So this was, people were having a blast though with Toobin all day. I mean, some of these tweets, I guess people are just having fun making up punny headlines. Let's read some of these. Was the Jeffrey Toobin thing on TikTok? Honestly, I feel like everything that can be said about Jeffrey Toobin's already been said. In other words, to be frank, there's no more meat on that bone. Jeffrey Toobin subtweet. Once again, she is awoken by a news alert that is a direct extension of the nightmare she is having. Available soon, the Jeffrey Toobin action figure. Oh my god. Let's see. How long before tubing becomes a verb? He totally tubing himself on that Zoom. Did you hear? Steve got tubing last week. He was lubing the tubing. And then we got F. Scott Fitzkowski was the first one to say Tubin didn't kill himself. Andrew Kerr, Tubin had a stroke of bad luck. You saw the post cover where they just said news flash. And then this guy goes, how long, Chad Prather, how long before the Tubin call is blamed on Russian election interference? Tubin's first meeting at the New Yorker tomorrow morning. Was that wrong? All right, so you saw the OJ thing. I don't know. I mean, what? How long are we going to spend talking about Jeffrey Tubin? So the long-awaited Google antitrust lawsuit has been filed by the Department of Justice. You kind of knew this was coming when Donald Trump announced that he'd ordered a review of the big social media companies, and it looks like the first strike is going to be against Google. They're claiming that Google is using anti-competitive practices to maintain their dominance of the search, and I mean, they are search essentially. They have 90% of the market. They're claiming that there's other alternatives, but are there really? I mean, DuckDuckGo maybe, you know, stuff like that, but very, very small market share. And I don't want to go into the weeds of the lawsuit. I just want to note that it's happening, and that I just think the timing is also interesting. It's at the tail end of the Trump's first term. So hypothetically, let's say Trump loses the election, they're still going to have to go forward with it. So it's probably a good thing that they file it now. But this may not be the end. You could also see Facebook and Twitter get hauled into court. So this might this could be momentous going forward. And now with Trump essentially set to appoint a sixth Supreme Court justice. I believe March 26th is the date, Hillary Clinton's birthday, where they're supposed to get a confirmation vote for her. Ostensibly making the Supreme Court a 6-3 court in favor of the constitutionalists. This could bode well going forward, because all these cases end up in the Supreme Court anyway. No matter what decision you would get in a federal court in an antitrust case against Google, the loser is going to definitely appeal it to the Supreme Court. So this is setting up to get this fight into the courts, where Trump would have a decided advantage ultimately at the Supreme Court level to get his way on this. If you missed it, James O'Keefe and Project Veritas, they had dropped another bomb. This is related to Google again, where a current Google program manager confirmed that basically Google's interfering with the election. This guy, I don't think he didn't know he was being recorded. So this is not a whistleblower coming forward. This is a guy just admitting on camera he didn't know he was being recorded, that Google is interfering with the election. James O'Keefe strikes again. Project Veritas on Monday evening released undercover video of a Google program manager. So this isn't a guy that's been fired from Google. He's not a disgruntled employee. This guy's a, he's a current Google employee who, he wasn't trying to get this out there. He was just, sounds like his conscience was troubled, and he was just trying to, relieve his conscience by talking to this guy. Video of a Google program manager confirming election interference in favor of Joe Biden. When you type in Donald Trump, it's all negative, and when you type in Joe Biden, it's all positive, Project Veritas said to Google program manager Ritesh Lakkar. Ritesh Lakkar has responded and said it's skewed by owners and drivers of the algorithm. So he's saying the people at Google responsible for the algorithm deliberately are basically deliberately making it that way. He goes, if Trump wins, there will be riots. If the left wins, they will be ecstatic, Lakkar said. I disagree with the corporations playing God and taking away freedom of speech on both sides, basically. When Trump won the first time, people were crying in the corridors of Google, he said. There were like group therapy sessions for employees organized by Human Resources. So this is a guy on the inside. He's saying that people were crying in Google. And that there were group therapy sessions. I believe last year we spoke about this. Well, at least I did in a video. But here's from the guy himself describing what Google's doing.
You go to search and you type in like Donald Trump, and it's like all negative. And when you type in Joe Biden, it's all positive.
Because it's skewed by the owners or the drivers of the algorithm.
It's skewed by the owners and drivers of the other algorithm.
Like, so if I say, hey Google, here's $2 billion, feed this data set of whenever Joe Biden is searched, you will get these results.
It seems like they favor the Democrats. I'm like,
because we are in America. If Trump wins, there will be riots. If the left wins, they will be ecstatic.
This guy, Ritesh Lakar, a technical program manager at Google, is telling our journalist the truth about the company he has worked at for years. With the presidential election just days away, he is calling out his own friends in big tech.
I disagree with the corporations playing God and taking away freedom of speech of both sides, basically. So I'm like, you are playing selective God. Like, if it was squad, it doesn't matter, but for Trump, Melania Trump, it matters. And on the other side, Trump says something, misinformation, you're going to delete that because it's illegal under whatever pretext. And if a Democratic leader says that, then you're going to leave it like that, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, you're not following one way or the other. You were just plain and simple trying to play God. When Trump won the first time, people were crying in the corridors of Google. There were protests, there were marches, there were like, I guess, group therapy sessions for employees.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Organized by HR. I can't keep doing this. Go and teach Chinese.
Okay, at this point, he's going to confess to something different. Here he's saying that it bothers his conscience that he's teaching Chinese people, he's being made by Google to train Chinese people to spy, to do this election interference against Americans. I mean, this is incredible what he's admitting to here. And you can see it does bother him. This guy, he might, you know, despite him working there, he continues to work there. It does sound like he has an internal conscience, and he knows it's wrong, and he feels bad about doing it.
These people how to do American jobs and come back and get surveilled on the way, and then
who were you doing that for? Google?
Google, Fitbit, yeah, these two companies primarily. Morally and ethically, I disagree. So, and I guess that's one of the reasons I feel suffocated.
So here's a guy saying he morally and ethically disagrees with his assignment that he was assigned to train Chinese nationals to surveil American citizens. It says here he feels suffocated.
I feel suffocated at Google.
If you're an insider at a big tech company and you want to expose the truth,
I believe it or not, that was the more shocking part of the video to me, where the guy basically says, "Yeah, you know, they're having me do this crappy thing where I train Chinese nationals to spy on Americans for Google." That's crazy. So, Jim Jordan apparently had the CEO of Google up on Capitol Hill. I think this is back in July, at the end of July. And he was asked directly if they were going to, you know, work to politically tilt the election one way or the other. Let's see if they caught him in a lie.
Is Google going to tailor its features to help Joe Biden in the 2020 election?
Congressman, we approach our work, we support both campaigns today. We think political ads is an important part of free speech in democratic societies, and we engage with campaigns, according to law, and we approach our work in a nonpartisan way.
It was a yes or no question. Can you assure Americans today you won't tailor your features to help Joe Biden in the upcoming election?
We support work that campaigns do. I just want to make sure I
understand that. We all do all kinds of online, social media, all kinds of that kind of that outreach, that communication. This is a simple question. Can you today assure Americans you will not tailor your features in any way to specifically help one candidate over other? And this what I'm concerned about is you helping Joe Biden over President Trump.
We won't do any work, to politically tilt anything one way or the other. It's against our core values.
Google.
So that lie has been exposed. We have one of his own employees saying that they do this. I mean, I don't know who they think they're fooling. This was a story I meant to get to it last week, but I just this story I've been fascinated by this. I just can't believe what's going on, and I guess this is because this is happening in the city I live in, and I've actually seen this, and this is driving me nuts. So here's just a headline on this one where you have New York issues $15,000 in fines. $15,000 fines to Orthodox Jewish institutions over COVID violations. I'm not making this up, guys. Basically, you have all over the city people gathering in masses, without masks, and just living life essentially the way we did before the Wuhan coronavirus hit, before all the lockdowns. A lot of people in New York City just don't give a flying... I don't know. Put it this way. A lot of people just don't care. And which is fine. I think people, have choice in the matter. But it seems like, for some bizarre reason, don't ask me why, the governor and mayor, as Andrew Cuomo and Bill de Blasio, have decided that they're going to target the Orthodox Jews. Only the Orthodox Jews on this issue. And for the life of me, I'm trying to figure out the angle here. I just don't see it. I don't understand why, of all the groups they could target, or it's just being fair and of treating everyone the same, they've decided that they have to go after the Orthodox Jewish community. And this is not, I'm not making this up. The targeting, I have never seen anything like this, guys. Never seen anything like this. I mean, how do you explain this? You have crime going through the roof in New York City, and we have cops assigned to spying on Jewish synagogues. Look at this. This guy was caught on video. This guy's a cop. An undercover cop. Look at him. He's got a camera, and he's taking pictures and video through the window of a Jewish temple. This is a cop. Watch. Now, this is the New York State Police. This is not the regular, this is not the NYPD. This is a sheriff. So he's with the state. This is one of Cuomo's boys. Now he's taking the picture, he's taking the video. Now he's going into the temple for the shakedown. So I want to know, they're not doing that in mosques, people. they're not going around to mosques and sticking cameras up against the windows and trying to snag some pictures inside of mosques. They're doing this to Orthodox Jewish synagogues. And here's Cuomo making threats. You will see compliance. Governor Cuomo threatens to withhold funding to governments and schools. Let me see if, here it is.
On the horizon for schools and local governments in cluster zones that do not follow new restrictions. Governor Andrew Cuomo signing an executive order threatening to If
that sounds general, no, he's basically targeting the Jewish basically the Jewish private schools now. That's who he's really targeting here.
Hold state aid for non-compliance. Here's News 12's Lisa LaRocca.
Well, schools and communities located in those red zone areas could lose millions in state aid for not following COVID safety protocols. And people that we're speaking to out here say sounds like a great incentive.
I hope people will start listening. Enough is enough. Kind of gets to me because I'm trying to do my best. All
right, so you have the threat now. So Jewish leaders. Now you got to understand. In New York, these people typically, because New York, I don't know if it's not an ideological thing. I think it's just because the power in New York City tends to be with the Democrat machine. A lot of these guys, no different than anyone else. You can basically buy their loyalty. You can hand them goodies and they'll support you electorally. So the natural inclination for a lot of the Jewish community is to just go along with the Democrat machine. But in this case, they seem to have been targeted and they're not happy about it. Jewish leaders call COVID rules blatantly anti-Semitic. They're talking about Andrew Cuomo and Bill de Blasio here again. This is unprecedented in New York, where you have this explicit resistance to two big-time Democrat politicians by the local Orthodox Jewish community. This is normally a very quiet group. They're very insular. They keep to themselves. You don't generally hear about them in the news unless there's some like major crime spree, like the knockout game going on in their area. And it's almost like I don't want to say that they're equivalent, but it's like, because they're kind of congregated in certain neighborhoods, it almost feels like a certain miniature version of, like, let's say, the Warsaw Ghetto, where you have these occupying cops being sent in there basically to police them. And I guess they're not wearing yellow Star of David bands on their arm. They're basically being forced almost to wear, like, this the mask. Basically, if they want to parody it, they should put, like, yellow Stars of David on their COVID masks. It's like, if they want to, here they look at this, and here you got the New York Times trying to basically stand for the governor. How a virus surge among Orthodox Jews became a crisis for New York. What crisis are they talking about? There's no crisis in COVID is going down in New York. So, do you see what I was talking about when I tried to compare it to, like, the Warsaw Ghetto? I mean, you have basically Jews being targeted and being forced to wear this this garment, whether they want to or not, these masks. It's like the Warsaw Ghetto. I think they saw Schindler's List and they took that as a instead of a cautionary tale, they took it as a suggestion. I mean, you can't make this crap up. So here are the areas that are being restricted. Forest Hills is an area where you have, I guess that's the part of Queens that you'd have the most Orthodox. And then these areas in Brooklyn here, Borough Park, Midwood, a lot of Orthodox Jews in that area. Sunset Park, this is like east of Bay Ridge and Bensonhurst. And a lot of these people who I don't think normally would have voted for Trump, I think they're going to be a lot of them are going to be voting for Trump this time around. Also, if I don't get out to the Far Rockaways that much, but apparently there's some Orthodox in Far Rockaway. So you have, look at what they're reduced to. They're like having their little religious gatherings outside in groups. It's just strange. The targeting of this community. Look at these cops. you gotta understand, in these areas, apart from them being attacked by, let's say, black youths playing a knockout game, there's really not a lot of crime in these neighborhoods. You wouldn't really need a heavy police presence in these areas normally. In Borough Park, an anti-shutdown protest turns into a pro-Trump rally, and a journalist is assaulted. So things were even starting to get violent at these things between the Orthodox and some of the let's see how it did turn into a Trump rally. I mean, basically, I guess the Orthodox have gotten red-pilled. I mean, you gotta understand how you don't see these people generally having political rallies, and to see these guys dressed in like 18th century Eastern European garb, or is it 19th century Eastern European garb, or whatever it is, holding up Trump flags is the most amusing thing you're gonna see on the streets of Brooklyn. I don't know, I've just never seen that community come out politically. Let's see, here's another video. Right now, it's basically a pro-Trump dance party. Lots of were they dancing to Haba Nagila and saying, you know, Trump 2020? What was going on? Was that a "Don't Tread on Me"? A "Don't Tread on Me" flag that I saw? It's a "Don't Tread on Me" snake being flown by the Orthodox Jewish residents of Brooklyn. This is insane. This is not your typical MAGA. This is, how did Jussie Smollett put it? This is MAGA country. I would not have called the Orthodox areas of Jewish areas of Brooklyn MAGA country. Seeing them dancing on the street, flying "Don't Tread on Me" Gadsden flags and Trump 2020 flags is so hysterically funny. Oh my God, you can't make this up. Okay, so there's this activist guy. His name is Heshi. He apparently he was the guy driving the crowd to surround this journalist, and then they started shouting at the guy in Hebrew, I guess, Moiser, which means snitch. And the NYPD, it says here, lost control of the situation and things got scary. So we got the cops here. They're chasing this reporter that they're calling snitch. So this is guys, this is bad. I'm laughing because what else are you gonna do? I mean, you just don't see this. De Blasio and Cuomo hate us Jews. A Hasidic woman says. Is she speaking in sign language here?
How do I know it's off? No. So then turn it off.
Take videos. Stop.
You don't control public space. Well, you don't get to
Don't touch me.
I touch you?
You touch my phone,
I touch your phone?
you're gonna get hurt.
I touch your phone?
That's a warning. That's your only warning.
Get away from my camera.
Things getting heated in the Orthodox community.
Hey, no picture taking. Get the hell away from me. Get 6 feet back. Get out of my space. This is harassment. You are harassing. No, you're following me. No, I'm not. I'm just walking in a public space. I'd rather go back to my space.
Wow, this is going to go viral.
Sorry.
Okay, buddy. Right.
But I'm showing you what it feels like.
You have every right to do that as long as you stay 6 feet away from us.
You have no right to do what you're doing. This is harassment.
You're harassing me.
I'm doing.
So we have this woman is recording him as he records her. So it's like some kind of Inception deal going on here.
Nothing to you. I'm telling you.
It's laughable what your logic right now. Laughable.
The funny part is this guy here, he's probably Jewish. He's just not Orthodox, I'm guessing. I don't know for sure. But I'm guessing that this guy, he's a Jewish cameraman being filmed by an Orthodox Jewish woman.
There's no logic to what you're doing. You guys just want press and money, and this is not.
We are the press.
Doing it. Yeah, but you know what? Go find a better way and a nicer way to do it than plugging crosses.
Than standing on a public street.
No, then coming to a place you're unwelcome.
Looks like this is the front of a synagogue here, so I'm guessing that's why they're objecting to his presence.
Go somewhere where you're actually welcome.
White hair, big mouth. Jewish lives matter.
Get the cameras off me. I do not allow you to record me.
No, I don't know.
And there are laws against this. You can't just record what you want. Yes. Actually, the system's upside down, so nobody knows what you're putting yourself. You don't know what the hell is going on. You don't know what the...
This is an NBC Channel 4 news crew. That's Channel 4 is the local NBC affiliate.
hell is going on.
And this is the guy, Heshi Tischler. He actually ended up getting arrested the other night at one of those rallies. I guess he's leading the movement to vote Republican in the election, and he got arrested for it.
Hello, everybody. Heshi Tischler from Just Enough Heshi Show. I was on the phone with the commissioner of the police with a lot of chiefs. They know, and I told them they cannot enforce, due to the court order, the fake executive order. Do not close your stores. Take your fines. We'll fight them. I will get into city council, and I will wipe it out. Kalman Yeager was wonderful today on the phone, our councilman. Rabbi Freilich was wonderful on the phone. We went and we argued the cases. I don't know about the rest of them. Shoimim, Joey Dweck, all these other people, they just make fun of us. We must stand together. Come tonight to my Simchas Beis HaSheva. We're going to have music. We're going to dance. I do not condone violence. Do not touch my police officers. They are our friends. They are our neighbors. They are our brothers. They are our guardians. They will not hurt us. Our shuls will not close. Our yeshivas will open. We will have civil disobedience. Our amendments, the First Amendment, will be protected. And that's the law. They give you a fine, take it. We will not pay it. I will be in city council, and I will put a bill in to remove all the fines. We will deal with the city de Blasio for another year. This Governor Cuomo that hates us is a liar. We will put together this battle. I will lead this war. We will stand together.
So as you could tell right away, the anger is at Cuomo and de Blasio here. I mean, I've never seen this towards a Democrat politician before. This to this level anyway, by this community.
In unity. And I'm sorry that I'm angry. I've lost my voice fighting with everybody. But we are here to stay. They will not touch us. They will not torture us. And please, wear masks. If that's what they want, let's try it again. And I will set up some better testing sites. Heshi Tischler from Just Enough Heshi Show. Come tonight to the Simchas Beis HaSheva. We'll dance, we'll sing, and we will not.
So yeah, he's pretty activated, that guy. I don't know what else to say about that story. It just strikes me as weird. But here's Cuomo. I mean, he doesn't help himself when he comes out in this video and admits that this whole thing is bullshit. He admits that it's not based on science, that it's based on fear, and that he has to do something just because people are afraid, and he has to appear to be doing something. This is crazy. You lose your rights because of fear? Not even any articulable science?
I'm 100% frank and candid. This is not a highly nuanced, sophisticated response. This is a fear-driven.
He just admitted it there. This is not a highly sophisticated, nuanced response. He's talking about the government response. He's saying it's a fear response. So we govern out of fear now?
Response. This is a fear-driven response. You know, this is not a policy being written by a scalpel. This is a policy being cut by a hatchet. It's just a very blunt. I didn't propose this, you know. It was proposed by the mayor in the city.
So here he is trying to dump it in as de Blasio. Well, he's the one enforcing it.
I'm trying to sharpen it and make it better, but it's out of fear. People see the numbers going up. Close everything. Close everything. It's not the best way to do it, but it is a fear-driven response. The virus scares people. Hopefully, we get the numbers down in the zip codes. The anxiety comes down, and then we can have a smarter...
Anxiety comes down. He's not even talking. Remember it was it 15 days to slow the spread, bend the curve, or whatever? Here we need to bring down anxiety. He's got to close everything to bring down anxiety?
A more tailored approach. Your point is right. Why close every school? Why don't you test the schools and close the ones that have a problem? I know, but first, I don't know that we have the resources to do that now, but I can tell you honestly, the fear is too high to do anything other than let's do everything we can to get the infection rate down now, close the doors, close the windows.
I mean, could you hear a politician saying he's doing something just because there's a lot of fear? It's not about resources, not about science, not evidence. It's just about fear. So that's why we're doing this.
That's where we are. Commissioner, do you want to add something?
I think that that's exactly the point.
He actually admitted that. So no wonder these people are pissed off. Here's another one. Here's a video of a guy coming into this... basically, this is a Jewish-owned restaurant or something, and giving the guy a fine and a summons to appear because his door is open.
I want to understand. Look, if you don't want to, you don't need to sign it. I know you're recording.
Look, there's no one in here. There's no one in this place. This guy's getting fined and he has to go to court because he had his door open.
That's fine. I'm allowed to record you. I'm going to give you a copy then. You're giving me a ticket because my doors are open, sir? The charge is spelled out here. There's nobody sitting in the restaurant. Everything is okay. You're giving me a ticket because my doors are open? What if my store is hot? I'm not allowed to open the door because the store is hot? Everything is spelled out in the summons. I'm going to give you a copy. And I'm going to leave. Can I have your name, please? Is it on the report? But it's not fair that only because my doors are open and I'm getting a violation. You know, I'm struggling here every single day. It's hard for me. And there was nobody inside the store, obviously, because we don't have dining. We only have takeout. There was nobody in the store, and I'm only getting a ticket because my doors are open. Can you just please repeat that sentence why I'm getting a violation? It's because I'm operating in a red zone with, what is that? In a red zone, you're only supposed to do pickup and delivery at the door. Everything's spelled out here in the summons. So, but I'm doing pickup and delivery. When the guy walked in, I told him to step outside. That was not good enough. I'm not here to argue. I'm just reporting.
This is real, guys. They actually have flooded these Jewish neighborhoods with these inspectors who are going around just passing out fines like they're candy. This is nuts. Here's a guy. He doesn't have people dining in his restaurant. It's basically all the restaurants are takeout if you don't have outside eating. He doesn't have outside eating here. He doesn't have any sidewalk cafe going on. So you can only get takeout from this place. And if you don't know, it's been unusually warm in New York. It's October, and usually it's usually starts getting cold around here by now. It's been unseasonably warm. Looks like he's got his doors open, and he got a fine. There's nobody there. So this is real. They really were targeting. I'm a little late to the party on this one. I was supposed to get this to you guys, but obviously we had to cover the Hunter stuff in the previous streams. The Amy Coney Barrett hearings, they came and went. They really were kind of anticlimactic, actually. But there was one part where Mazie Hirono, the senator from Hawaii, she was questioning Amy Coney Barrett, and she took offense when Amy Coney Barrett used the word sexual preference. And this Mazie Hirono, or some people call her Crazy Hirono, where she goes, that's offensive. Now, understand, sexual preference is actually the kind of professional word that people use to describe LGBT people. They would say people's sexual preference suddenly became offensive. And then, basically, to back up Mazie Hirono, the Merriam-Webster dictionary that day changed the definition in the dictionary to say that it was offensive. So here's Steve Krakauer showing the proof, where he puts them side by side. So before Mazie Hirono speaks, you see the word preference, noun, definition of preference, the act of preferring, the state of being preferred, the power or opportunity of choosing one that is preferred, the act, fact, or principle of giving advantages to some over others, priority in the right to demand and receive satisfaction of an obligation. Then orientation, sense to be, sexual preference. Now, let's look at the definition as it read that day when Mazie Hirono decided to say that it was offensive. Look at that. Suddenly it's offensive. Number 5 went from orientation for sexual preference to offensive. See usage paragraph below. Orientation, sexual preference. I guess they saw 1984 and they decided it was a manual. This is like the Newspeak dictionary going on here. Whenever the party needs the definition of a word to change, they can change it. The Democrat Party has has sweeping power where they can get changes in the English dictionary, in real time as they need it. Same thing, here's Feinstein caught on a hot mic at the same hearing. I suspect Barrett's pro-life position is deeply personal and comes with her religion. So again, they didn't attack her on it because they knew it was a loser politically. But in private, caught on a hot mic, basically admitting that, yeah, we don't like this lady because she's a Catholic.
What was the purpose of this hearing if we've reached the point now where we really don't know what she thinks about any issues, any major issues? She hides behind originalism. She's not the only one. Many do. But won't even go to the original words of the Constitution when it comes to the transition of power. It just defies logic that we are putting ourselves through this on the notion that we are measuring a person who will spend the rest of my natural life, and many on the committee, serving on the court if she ends up being nominated and approved and confirmed.
trying to see where the hot mic moment is. I guess it was in the background because I didn't hear it. Let's see. All right, so here is one that I had to talk about. This was also a few days old, where I don't know if you guys remember, Ice Cube actually got in trouble a few months back when he actually defended the words of Louis Farrakhan, noted anti-Semite, and he bought into this into some of the stuff that was being said by the Black Hebrew Israelites. I think when Nick Cannon started saying some of the stuff that sounded like it was creeping into the Black Hebrew Israelite territory, and Ice Cube defended him. He got a little flack for that, but you know, not too much actually. But when it came out, when Katrina Pearson, who's part of the Trump campaign, sent out a tweet to Ice Cube, the rapper, that thanking him for basically talking to the Trump campaign about their platinum plan for the black community, where they were incorporating some of the ideas. Ice Cube basically has this contract with Black America kind of thing going on, and he says that he spoke to the Trump, both campaigns, the Biden campaign and the Trump campaign, but that the Biden campaign blew him off and said, yeah, talk to us after the election. Basically tell him, F you. To his surprise, the Trump campaign talked to him and incorporated some of his ideas, to his shock, apparently. Now, as you could imagine, when it came out that Ice Cube was talking, working with the Trump campaign, the left went berserk. They started killing this guy. Now, if you don't know who Ice Cube is, this guy is literally the original "Fuck the Police" guy. That was the name of the song that made him famous. He was in NWA. We got a sticker here from Man Guy. Thank you. Well, you're welcome, Man Guy. I don't know what you're thanking me specifically for, but much appreciated. But yeah, this I don't know if I should play this for you. Maybe I'll play a cover of it. I think that's what I'll do. I'll play the cover of his song, just to let you know who this guy is. I'm sure you'll recognize the song. It won't be him singing it. I don't want to get Susan WikiWiki on a copyright thing here. I'll play somebody. This isn't the most amusing cover that I can remember. Was these guys? We'll play a little bit of it, and you'll recognize this song. This guy calls himself Gingerbread Bear Hunter.
Fuck the police, coming straight from the underground. A young nigga got it bad cause I'm brown. Not the other color, so police think they have the authority to kill a minority. Fuck that shit cause I ain't the one for a punk motherfucker with a badge and a gun. I'll be beaten on and thrown in jail. We could go toe to toe in the middle of a cell. Fucking with me cause I'm a teenager with a little bit of gold and a pager. Searching my car, looking for the product, thinking every nigga is selling narcotics. You'd rather see me in the pen than me and Lorenzo rolling in the Benzo. Beat the police out of shape, and when I'm finished, bring that yellow tape to tape off the scene of the slaughter. Still can't swallow bread and water. Don't know if they fags or what. search a nigga down and grabbing his nuts, and on the other hand, without a gun they can't get none. Don't let it be the black and the white one, cause they'll slam you down in the streets of black.
So you see, you hear the lyrics of the song. Just imagine Ice Cube singing it with a little more aggressive style and a little more bass in the voice. That is who he is. But he's not the only rapper getting heat. Here 50 Cent, he actually came out all the way. He's endorsed Donald Trump. And the reason why, 50 was very specific in his reason for endorsing Donald Trump. He saw Joe Biden's tax plan. And that Joe Biden plans to raise taxes on the quote-unquote rich. So, here's the story on 50 Cent saying, Joe Biden wants to raise my taxes. Trump 2020. $50 Cent has gone on the record to diss Donald Trump in the past, calling out his response to COVID-19 pandemic several months ago. You wanted a reality show host as president, said 50. It seems that despite how he personally feels about Trump, he will still be casting a vote for the Republican candidate as per his latest post, sharing a picture of Joe Biden's alleged tax rate plan by state, which includes a 62.6% tax rate for California. 50 Cent claimed that he's got enough information from this one issue alone to vote for Trump. 50 wants to keep his money. What the fuck? Vote for Trump. I'm out. Wrote 50 Cent, endorsing Trump as the president of the United States. See, fuck New York. The Knicks never win anyway. I don't care. Trump doesn't like black people. 62%. Are you out of your out of your effing mind? So, let's just say 50 Cent is a one-issue voter. He's like, if you want 62% of my money, I don't care. Just get out. I'm out of here. Yes, a 50, the one-issue voter. Here's a 50 Cent, his post. It looks like this is his Instagram post. And he saw this: California 62.6%, New Jersey 60%, New York State 58%, New York City 62%. When 50 saw that, he's like, no thank you. I'm not giving. Basically, at this point, they're taking more of your money than you make from your own labor. That is insane. That's not only is it insane, it's immoral. How is the government going to profit more from your labor than you do? If that should be, they should pass a constitutional amendment that your tax liability has to be capped at 50%. To me, it cannot be that the government is going to be entitled to more of your money than you are. That just can't be. And then I guess 50 posted this. Let's see what he has here. Oh, he posted Trump dancing to YMCA. So I guess he's on the Trump train now. If he's been posting pro-Trump posts on Instagram. Yes, that's 50's Instagram account. He's got full MAGA. So if you don't think that going against the liberal narrative or the far left narrative that you won't get shot down, let this guy's story be a case in point. This shows you how the woke left has basically taken over. And in the NBA, it's over. They have been completely conquered by the woke left. And this is the proof of it. Daryl Morey, he's the GM of the Houston Rockets. Now, you might remember, this is the guy that started the whole scandal with the NBA but he dared to question China in a tweet when he basically supported the Free Hong Kong movement. He said Free Hong Kong or something like to that effect. And the China went berserk. The NBA started kowtowing to China. This guy was getting killed by people in the league. How dare you question China? So he's now been forced to step down as the Rockets general manager. But you would think that as he's being forced to step down, well, clearly it's got to do with the performance of the team under his management, right? Because if they were going to fire him for the stuff with China, they would have done that months ago when he was it last year when he made that tweet. But let's examine the record of Daryl Morey as he's being forced to step down. Just you will not going to believe this. It took a year, but it looks like Rockets general manager Daryl Morey is finally paying the price for his comments in support of Hong Kong. Houston Rockets GM Daryl Morey is stepping down, sources told ESPN. Morey approached owner Tillman Fertitta with the idea of leaving the job and decides quietly, yeah, I'm sure he did, and decides quietly worked through an exit agreement to conclude his 13 seasons running the franchise's basketball operations. So that's right, he's run the team for 13 years, he's worked for them a total of 14 years. There had been a league-wide uncertainty about Morey's job security since his tweet affected the NBA and Rockets' business relationships with China, costing Fertitta millions of dollars in sponsorship money. ESPN makes clear that Morey's run as GM was nothing short of a tremendous success. Guys, Daryl Morey is, if he's not the most successful GM in the NBA, I don't know who is. Under Morey, the Rockets have the league's longest consecutive playoff appearance streak. 8 years in a row, the Rockets have made the playoffs. Which, okay, you might say, it's not a big feat to make the playoffs in the NBA. But it is a big feat to make them 8 years in a row. If you run the team 13 years and 8 years straight you're in the playoffs, you're doing something right. That means your team has a chance to win a championship every year. Advancing in the Western Conference playoffs in each of the past 4 years. So get that straight. In the last 4 years, they didn't just appear in the playoffs. That means they won at least one series in the playoffs the past 4 years. Okay, so they're advancing at least into the semifinals of the NBA playoffs the last 4 straight years. The team has the league's second best regular season record over his 13 years as GM and 14 years of the franchise. On top of that, guys, I'm not making this up, he signed a 5-year contract extension in March 2019. So this idea that he approached the team about leaving makes no sense when he got a 5-year contract extension a year ago. So in year 1 of a 5-year contract extension, he has to be let out? Bullcrap. He has the second best record in the NBA over the 13 years. And you can't say it's recent because recently the team has appeared in 8 straight playoff years. And in the last 4 years straight, they've advanced in those playoffs. So let's look at this guy, David Hookstead. He summed it up in his tweet. October 2019, Rockets GM Daryl Morey supports Hong Kong. October 9th, 2020, the NBA mends its relationship with China. Games return to state TV. 6 days later, October 15th, 2020, Morey is out of the league. Put 2 and 2 together. The league had a 1-year hiatus in its TV, wasn't appearing on TV in China. China reinstates the NBA's games to their television on October 9th. Not even a week later, October 15th, Morey's fired. He's out 6 days after the NBA and China come back together. Something seems a bit off. A 7-word tweet Morey passed last October, "Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong," created a firestorm. China instantly condemned the statement. Morey issued an apology of sorts, saying he was learning to appreciate other perspectives, but it was too late. China pulled the NBA off the air, and the speculation at the time was that Morey was in danger of losing his job. So keep that in mind. This guy lost his job as the GM of the Rockets, despite basically being the most successful GM probably in the entire NBA in terms of getting his team to the playoffs and making them advance deep into the playoffs. So his team's got the second best regular season record. His team is that he's been running it. His team is in the playoffs every year, and he's fired. Coach Steve Kerr, who often has something to say on social issues, suddenly didn't want to comment. Yeah, remember how he said he couldn't comment? He doesn't know anything about China. Woke superstar LeBron James finally spoke about the issue a week later, saying Maury wasn't educated about the situation in Hong Kong. LeBron also suggested that maybe Maury deserved to be punished for having cost the league millions of dollars. Never mind the Uyghur camps in China. No, we gotta punish this guy who said, how dare he say, support free Hong Kong. But just let that go to show you. This guy, who basically did everything right, he basically runs his team at an elite level, lost his job because he made a single tweet criticizing China. But it ain't just the NBA, guys. Here we got even the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Chris Pratt, whose apparent sin is that he's not a woke, left-wing, far-left lunatic. That's his sin, guys. He's a Christian and actually believes in the teachings of the Christian church that he belongs to. This has made the cancel mobs come for him. Chris Pratt's MCU co-stars are defending him from the cancel mob. They're now being bullied and harassed too. So this is amazing. Chris Pratt is being defended by far left woke Hollywood leftists, and now even the woke leftists that are defending him are getting attacked for defending Chris. So they're getting attacked by proxy for defending Chris Pratt. Now, I don't know Chris Pratt. I'm not going to say he's a saint. Whatever. But it doesn't seem to be somebody that needs to be canceled. But the funniest part is that the people that know him, that are saying leave him alone, he's done nothing wrong, and they're getting killed now. So here we have this guy, Robert Downey Jr., came out publicly and defended Chris Pratt. What a world. The sinless are casting stones at my brother, Chris Pratt, a real Christian who lives by principle, has never demonstrated anything but positivity and gratitude, and he just married into a family that makes space for civil discourse, and just plain fact insists on service as the highest value. If you take issue with Chris, I've got a novel idea. Delete your social media accounts, sit with your own defective character, work on them, then celebrate your humanness. Pratt, I got your back. So that issue was seconded by Josh Gad, Mark Ruffalo, the guy that plays the Hulk in the Avengers movies. Chris Pratt is as solid a man there is. I know him personally, and instead of casting aspersions, look at how he lives his life. He's just not overtly political as a rule. This is a distraction. Let's keep our eyes on the prize, friends. We're so close now. So Mark Ruffalo, if you don't know, he's a far left, a loon. He thinks that Joe Biden is about to win. We're so close. Keep your eyes on the prize, people. We don't need to be attacking Chris Pratt. Now, James Gunn, he's the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. If you remember, he got into some Me Too trouble and actually lost his job as the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy. But not. And recently he was reinstated when things died down. So James Gunn is back into the picture. So having gone through that situation where he was canceled, obviously he's sympathetic to Chris Pratt here. Sorry, just finding out about this nonsense. Chris Pratt is the best dude in the world. I've spent hours and hours sharing my deepest truths with this man, as he has with me. Please stop assuming what he believes politically or in any other way because he's a Christian. Zoe Saldana, another far-left actress. She's very far-left. This is a woman who basically apologized for portraying, was it Nina Simone, claiming that she wasn't black enough. understand, she's Dominican, but she's, you know, she's a Dominican of like African descent. But according to she got criticized for playing Nina Simone by a certain segment of the black community, saying she wasn't black enough. Colorism, people. Understand, she's black, but she's not black enough to play Nina Simone. She's so far left that she agreed and cried and apologized for having the temerity to portray Nina Simone. No matter how hard it gets, stick your chest out, keep your head up, and handle it. She's quoting Tupac. You've got this, Chris Pratt. Your family, friends, colleagues, and everyone who's ever crossed paths with you knows your heart and your worth. Now, it's also worth noting, she plays the role of Gamora, which is the girlfriend of Chris Pratt's character in Guardians of the Galaxy. She's the Green Woman in the Avengers movies. So clearly, she's the actress, the actor who would have spent the most time with him and know him probably the most. Now here you got Mark Ruffalo, the guy that plays the Hulk, and whose tweet I just read you. Here's this leftist saying die because he had the temerity to defend Chris Pratt, and then this Data Racer is the account that is compiling all these. Just look at all these attacks. Shut up, threats of violence. I mean, just page after page after page of far left people just attacking these people with nasty, sometimes racial terms. I mean, I can't even read half of these. Just going after Chris Pratt because he's a Christian. I mean, you can't make this up. So I called. Basically, this is the far left eating its tail. So I don't know what else to call it. The people that they're criticizing are as woke gets. All right, so now we'll get into some of the more traditional coverage that basically riot and protest related. Here we have a Biden supporter who was putting up a Joe Biden sign, and a couple of Trump supporters, I guess, drove by his house and honked their horn, and he decided that the honking of the horn required him to fire 2 shots of a shotgun at them. I'm not making this up. They honked their horn, he fired at them with a shotgun. Kingsville, Maryland, a Biden supporter on Sunday was arrested and charged for firing a shotgun at 2 Trump supporters driving by his property. It was basically a man and his son. The Biden supporter, 50-year-old Douglas Kuhn, was reportedly putting up a Biden 2020 sign in his yard when a father and son drove by in a truck with Trump 2020 flags and honked. Douglas Kuhn became enraged, grabbed his shotgun, and discharged his weapon. The Trump supporters, Neil Houck and his son Bradley Lang, sped off and called the police. According to reports, no one was injured and the truck was not damaged. Alright, so here's the story according to the father and the son. It's Kingsville. It's a friendly area. Everyone honks at each other. We're hoping there could be some civility between people who support different candidates, Lang said. Police said Kuhn picked up a shotgun and discharged it as the truck drove by. The victims drove to a safe location and called police. No one was injured and the truck was not damaged. We were looking right down the barrel of a shotgun, Houck said. He picked up a shotgun from near his feet and ran towards us, aiming it, and we got 100, 200 feet down the road and began to fire. Lang said, we were scared. Although we were happy that he missed, the truck was missed and we were all right. Kuhn allegedly told everyone that he had a shovel, not a shotgun, in his hand. There are witnesses who say otherwise. Police arrested Kuhn and charged him with first-degree assault, reckless endangerment, and using a firearm in the commission of a crime. Police said officers confiscated 2 firearms from Kuhn's property. The judge assigned to the case was furious and scolded the shooter. How did it get to the point where he pulls out a shotgun? What has the world come to? This is beyond belief. Free speech, why resort to weaponry? This could have been horrible, Baltimore County District Court Judge Philip Tirabassi said during Monday's bail hearing. I would never think, especially in Kingsville, that anyone would be violent about this situation. We all play nice here. It is America, Houck said. He obviously has his political beliefs, as he showed with his signs. We were expressing those same rights, and he attacked us for that, Wang said. Kuhn was ordered to serve home detention until his next court date. Well, you shoot at people, you get home detention. No reason. They honked their horn as they drove past. Here we have Philip Anderson. Here's a guy that he organized a protest of Twitter in San Francisco. Now, if you remember when the New York Post was printing their stories about Hunter and Joe Biden, Twitter was blocking the posting of the story. And this Philip Anderson, he's a Trump supporter. He put together a permitted event where they would protest censorship by Twitter, corporate censorship. And this was the event he put together. Antifa claimed that, I guess this was an event of Proud Boys, that they were Nazis, and they attacked him. You know, to make a long story short, I'm not going to play the video because Susan WikiWiki won't like it. He got punched in the mouth and got his teeth knocked out by Antifa. Unprovoked. Notice he's there. He's just trying to walk this guy in. This is a guy he's protecting from Antifa, and he's just trying to get him inside the rally, inside this fence line. And this Antifa guy, you could see he's got a glove on. And if you don't know what Antifa does, they wear these weighted gloves. So you can see him knocking his tooth out there. They have these gloves that they have these 1 or 2 pound weights in the knuckles. So that basically, they're essentially, think of them like brass knuckles. So he punches him with this weighted glove, knocks his teeth out, his 2 front teeth. And you can see him here. He's already grabbing his mouth. And this is the guy that did it. This guy here. Fortunately, since then he's been arrested. In a little update, I don't recall his name, sadly, but this guy has been apprehended. He is the guy that knocked out Philip Anderson's teeth. So then Philip got him in there. Now I want you to notice something. This all went down with the cops right there. This guy got his teeth knocked out. They didn't arrest the guy there. They arrested the guy days later. The San Francisco cops at the site did nothing. No one was arrested. These guys, Antifa, that basically surrounded this event, none of them got arrested at the place. As a matter of fact, I'll play this tail end of the video. This guy who knocked out his teeth then started giving the police crap. They still didn't arrest him. This is the guy that knocked out the teeth. And notice the cops. They're completely passive. You can't make this up. So, here's the guy viciously beaten, teeth knocked out. You could see there gruesome pictures. Actually, let me go to here he is at the hospital, basically. Oh, this is not it. There was a video of him at a hospital, basically asking if Joe Biden thought it was real.
Working very hard on getting more speakers. The website will.
Okay, this was him, I guess, setting up the event. So this was before the incident.
Working very hard on getting more speakers. The website will be back up. The rally's going to be great. We're going to have police protection. Everyone's going to be protected. I'm working on everything. I've been working very hard on everything. Will no longer be any personal issues. No infighting. That's been taken care of as well and established. We are good to go. All we're going to be doing now is beating the living shit out of all the people trying to stop us. We're going to be going there, working very...
Well, that didn't happen. What happened was the event didn't happen because Antifa swarmed it. So, fortunately, that it appears that situation's been resolved with the apprehension of the guy. And yeah, someone in the chat said that they actually put a hate crime enhancement on him. So it was so bad that here we have Antifa chasing these people, and they had to get a police escort to their car. The footage you're about to see is from inside the police cruiser as they're getting driven at high speed to get to their cars away from their Antifa that's pursuing them. This is insane. Listen to, even the cops are frantic at this point as they try to get these people away from Antifa.
We gotta get in our cars and go immediately.
Notice motorcycle cops in front of them trying to clear the road. This is like something you'd see out of a movie.
Do not stop.
What? Where do you want me?
8th mission up here on the left.
Yes. On the left?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, this parking garage right here.
Right here. Right here.
Are they following us? This is it. Down in there. Yeah, go.
This is where we're going. What floor? Down.
Third floor.
Third floor. Two floors down.
And roll it out.
Go. Get out.
Go. Open the doors. All right, thank you. Grab the buddy. Come on.
Let's go. Down. Come on.
The police had to drive these guys to the parking lot at high speed with an escort to get them away from Antifa violence. I've never seen anything like that. You would think, you know, like ISIS or Al-Qaeda was chasing these people. Here's a one of those Border Patrol BORTAC officers who made the mistake of getting separated from his unit. He got surrounded by Antifa, and you can imagine what kind of stuff they were doing.
You will be. You should be scared. You will be. When you're up against the wall, you'll be scared. You Nazi piece of shit.
Oh, threatening to murder the cop.
Fuck you! You sterilize women! You sterilize women! You sterilize women! You fucking Nazi! You fucking Nazi piece of shit! You sterilize women! You sterilize women! You should be executed! You should be executed!
You should be executed.
Be executed! You Nazi piece of shit! Get the fuck!
So, yeah, typical Antifa harassing law enforcement there. So, I mean, you can imagine what kind of effect this has on police in a leftist city. Here we have Seattle reporting that at least 118 police officers have left the department this year. Mayor receiving a stream of threats. Now, look at this chart. It might be tough to see it. Let me see if I can open it here. Note this yellow line here. This is the manpower of the Seattle Police Department. Look at here. In 2010, it's about the 1,300 cop level. Now it dips down below 1,250 in the early 2000 teens, and then it, you know, steadily climbs until it goes up to almost 1350 in 2018. Then it starts to slip again, but it's still pretty level. It's basically about 1,300 cops. And then comes this year, starting in May, which is when the Black Lives Matter riots started, just falls off a cliff. And they're down from 1,300 down to 1,200, basically. Right here is where the Black Lives Matter situation started. This is where the George Floyd situation happened. Just a steep drop-off. Cops said, nope, had enough. Going to find a different way to make a living. And the cops that are leaving, they're not They're not leaving it as mystery why. They're saying exactly why they're leaving. Friday, the Seattle Budget Office published a report revealing that a record number of police officers left the force in September. The attrition through resignation and retirement brings current staffing down to levels not seen in 20 years. A record number of Seattle police officers left the police department, double the highest of any month on record, and a level of attrition that the city's mayor calls unprecedented. On top of that, the report says the city could find itself at police staffing levels on par with the early 1990s, even though the city's population has grown by 44% since then. The report says 39 officers or officers in training separated from Seattle Police Department in September, while another 14 officers were on extended leave. Per the report, that means the number of officers decreased from 1,247 to 1,203 in a single month. Last month was the peak of this trend, but in all, there have been 118 separations from the force this year, most of those since the push to defund the police. So, and most of these guys, they're not quitting law enforcement, guys. What they're doing is they're just getting jobs with police departments outside of New York, outside of Seattle, or with the state police in Washington. So that's basically what it is. So here's Kitty Shackelford showing that what these cops have to put up with. Here's a female cop pushed to her limit by these far left wackos.
You got the ass, bitch! You fucking bitch! You fucking bitch! Get out of my face!
So that's what a typical Seattle cop has to put up with Antifa. On the flip side, though, if you're a cop and this kind of stuff doesn't really bother you, doesn't faze you, the flip side is, if you're someone who sticks and stones may break your bones, but names will never hurt you, you can't have a better time. Because the police in Portland, I think, are basically, I saw something where they were making more than $200,000 a year, some of them, with all the overtime. I think that the number one cop in Portland this year earned $289,000 because of all the overtime. He earned more in overtime this year than he is in regular salary, and the year's not over. It's October, guys. So in Portland, what they're doing is, with all these cops leaving, they're having to, use more overtime to cover these protests. So if you're going to protest day after day after day, the overtime is unreal. If you take all the overtime, you're making more than 200. Basically, I think the average cop in Seattle or Portland right now, all of them are making over $100,000 a year with the overtime. But there are 5 cops in Portland who've so far racked up more than $200,000 in salary and overtime. So they're loving it. Basically, Antifa and Black Lives Matter is making them rich, the cops that aren't leaving. So if you can put up with the work environment, if you can shut that off when you go home and just deal with it day to day, deal with the grind of being yelled at and having stuff thrown at you, you're making these cops extremely rich with the overtime. But what's also happening, you gotta understand, is the people that live there, even the people that are basically leftists, they're getting sick of this. Their real life, their quality of life's been impacted. Here you have a black woman who probably, I guess, by default, she probably would have called herself a Black Lives Matter supporter, maybe, for all we know. Here she is yelling at Antifa. She's upset at these people for what they're doing to her neighborhood. Think about it. Would you want these people in your neighborhood? A bunch of white people in dressed in black just marching around? She doesn't know who these people are. They come, they smash shit up. Who in their right mind wants that?
Let me go!
So you saw, I guess the cops came in when that woman took them all on, and things progressed to the point where the cops made a bunch of arrests.
Hey, brother.
You're a horrible bitch, man. What you doing, right? How are you gonna say you believe in First Amendment rights, but you tackle protesters? How can you look at me in the fucking eye? How can you do your fucking job and you say you believe in the First Amendment rights, but you tackle protesters? Huh? How's it feel?
Alright, so you can see them taking that guy away. Here's another example of a Trump supporter basically hospitalized by a Black Lives Matter thugs at the Women's March. Now, she was at the Women's March holding up a Trump flag, and I guess she was with a pro-life group. A Trump supporter has been brutally assaulted by a Black Lives Matter mob while campaigning to confirm Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court of the United States. Isabella DeLuca, the outreach director for the pro-Trump organization Republicans for National Renewal, was attacked by multiple Black Lives Matter and Women's March far-left activists after DeLuca advocated for confirming Coney Barrett, a woman, to the Supreme Court. DeLuca described being assaulted by a geriatric older female in an exclusive statement provided to the National File. The first woman was a white older woman. She had glasses on, a glittery, bedazzled Black Lives Matter shirt, DeLuca told National File. She looked like she could have been my grandma, honestly. The Black Lives Matter supporter grabbed DeLuca's Trump flag, and then when DeLuca attempted to grab it back, the woman punched and choked her. Due to the advanced age of the woman and her presumably fragile condition, DeLuca felt reluctant to defend herself, but was determined to get her property, the Trump flag, back. It was at that moment that a much younger female leftist arrived on the scene and began joining her older compatriot in hitting, pushing, and punching DeLuca. After the leftists fled, DeLuca sought medical attention and was subsequently hospitalized. DeLuca was given a cervical collar due to her extensive head and neck injuries, had her lips bloodied, and is also enduring blurry vision and dizziness. Coverage of the protests by Breitbart News earlier today showed DeLuca waving a Trump flag and shouting 4 more years in support of the president. So you got to understand, what was she doing to merit this beating? You're going to see here, you can see her early on in this video. For this, she got assaulted. You can see her there in the video. She's waving the Trump flag and saying 4 more years.
4 more years! 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 Everybody their choice! Everybody their
hammered at this thing, but, you know, she's just there holding her Trump flag and just saying 4 more years. That's basically it, guys. I mean, it's a 2-hour video. Unfortunately, the assault is not captured on here, but I do believe the woman that attacked her is in here somewhere.
Is a senior advisor at Independence. A senior advisor at Independence. Rise!
I didn't mean to.
So basically, these are women arguing with each other. It's really not much of a video of that event, but it just captured her at the beginning. That was essentially what she was doing. So what happened was she got into the older woman tried to grab her flag. She didn't want to hurt the older woman, so she just got into a tug of war with the flag with her. And then another younger leftist came over and basically tag teamed her in the assault. So let's see here. We have coronavirus restrictions growing across Europe, and I just included this because you could see these major European cities are more or less deserted. Look at it. There's Paris. You can see the Eiffel Tower in the background. So this is the tourist area of Paris. Empty. Here's looks like some kind of pub in Bavaria, Germany. Just looks mostly empty. I see an old guy here, a couple people at another table there, and another dude at a table in the distance by the wall there. I mean, here we have soccer players. This is the Leeds Rhinos celebrating a Coral Challenge Cup in front of an empty stadium. Here we have a park in Barcelona, Spain with like 2 kids in it. Here's Ghent, Belgium, completely empty. Here we look at this cafe, this sidewalk cafe, nobody there. Here's a bar in Eindhoven in the Netherlands, empty. Looks like the sun is just set there, empty. Here are the stands for a game in Milan, Italy. Stadiums are limited to 1,000 supporters. I mean, look at this. And here we have the UNESCO main square in Krakow, Poland. Looks like 2 people sharing an umbrella. That's it. The entire square, 2 people. Well, there's 1 person all the way over there, it looks like. Okay, this one got taken down, so I can't even show you this one. Here we have, I'm just including this for irony, populist-controlled Swedish council refuses to fly pride flag. Now, you may think it's strange how in Sweden, which is one of the most leftist-dominated countries in the world, how is it that a Swedish town council would refuse to fly the pride flag? Well, this town's been taken over by populists, but I'm going to point out something else that may be lost on the Swedish politicians who have basically had an influx of refugees into their country. It has not occurred to them that the refugees they're letting in, you know, are the very reactionary element that they're opposing. So we've had a situation where a town that became a Swedish migrant majority, right? So those migrants are basically Muslims from the Middle East. Now that they are the majority in this town in Sweden, they've taken down the pride flags every day. They don't even care about the government. They just take them down for sabotage. So I thought I'd read you that story. I'm like, it's like the far left doesn't realize if you import a patriarchal culture, you end up with a patriarchy. This is the biggest irony. Officials in the migrant majority municipality of Södertälje, I think that's how you say that, right? Södertälje, have been forced to remove gay pride flags from their flagpoles each evening in a new tactic following years of theft and vandalism. The local government made the move after vandals had repeatedly stolen the flags, torn them up, and even set them on fire in previous years. Swedish broadcaster SVT reports. After all, we had enough before and felt the need to find a solution that allows the flag to fly for as long as possible, said Magnus Amanoff, a member of the municipality's property management department. When asked what kind of message taking the flags down each day sends to the broader public, Amanoff said, "It's about finding a practical solution to a problem which allows the flags to fly for as long as possible. We will not be naive." Well, he says we will not be naive. You imported a patriarchal culture when you're opposing a patriarchy in Sweden. He added that the municipality had prepared in advance by buying spare flags. Amanoff also admitted that the solution was not practical in the long term and said that the municipality was looking into flagpoles that are constructed in a way to prevent the flags from being taken down, but noted cost issues. Nationalists plan gay pride march through Muslim area. Left is outraged. So here's the irony. The Swedish nationalists, okay, are planning a gay pride march through a Muslim area. The left is outraged that they would have a gay pride parade in a Muslim area. You can't make it up. Oh my God. Södertälje is one of Sweden's growing number of migrant-majority municipalities and saw the largest increase of foreign background residents in all of Sweden in 2016. The area has also seen homophobic incidents in the recent past, with a homosexual Syrian man claiming to have been severely beaten by other Syrian migrants. Gabriel Chabo, 31, claimed that a group of his fellow countrymen had said, "If you're going to stay in Södertälje, you pay money because you are gay," before they brutally beat him and slammed his head into a car door. So it's like the based Muslim population that they've imported apparently objects to their progressive politics. I don't know if these guys understand the correlation between importing people whose religion violently opposes, LGBT issues, and the correlation between the rise in homophobic attacks and the vandalism of the LGBT flags. It's like they don't notice the correlation. Here we have the BBC, a BBC presenter, the British Broadcasting Corporation, mind you. This is what the people of Britain are paying for with their TV fees. The countryside is racist. Yes, I'm not making this up. BBC country file presenter Ellie Harrison has insisted that the countryside is racist after the BBC courted controversy by reporting that many minorities see it as a white environment. Well, I'm shocked that you would find English people in the English countryside. What a surprise. Next, there's Scots in Scotland. Are we going to be shocked to find Irish people in Ireland next? I mean, this is what I find amazing. When they say minorities see the English countryside as a white environment, who else would live there? It's the English countryside. Writing in the magazine associated with the BBC mainstay, which debuted on television over 30 years ago, Harrison said, "In asking whether the countryside is racist, then yes it is. But asking if it's more racist than anywhere else, well, maybe not. But how is it racist? Because English people live in England?" So, it's just a tweet. Here's a, while Dwayne Fields found solace in the landscapes of the UK and beyond, many in black, Asian, and minority ethnic groups see the countryside as being a white environment. Is that a bad thing, that the English live in England? Are they supposed to feel ashamed that the English countryside is populated by the native population? I just don't understand this story. Who else would live, say, in the English countryside? Who do they expect to live there? I don't get it. I mean, are they saying that they can't go to the English countryside? I've not seen. I read through the story. It's not. There's not one instance of people saying no, you can't come here. They apparently go there. Look, this guy. Nobody's giving him a problem. He's walking around. He's enjoying the English countryside. He's got his binoculars. Nobody's hassling him. He seems content. Here's another one. Here's a woman. Look at this. Twitter is blocked. What? I can't show you this. Oh, let's take it off the page here. This black British hiker is tackling exclusion from the outdoors. Well, how is it exclusion? She's there. No one's stopping her. She's walking around. She's enjoying the countryside. No one's preventing her from enjoying it. I bet you if she runs into people, they probably smile and say hello to her. They probably it's just that's what you have to understand. The story isn't saying that, you know, blacks and Asians or whatever that go to the countryside are being told not to go there. They're not experiencing harassment. They're enjoying the countryside apparently. So what's the problem? I don't understand. She's smiling. She seems happy. She seems like she's enjoying her hiking trip in the countryside. I don't get it. Someone needs to explain that one to me. Here's Newport County to investigate why teams did not take the knee before the Tranmere game. So here's the thing. You know, you had the phenomenon of teams, sports players taking a knee during the national anthem before the games. I guess in the UK, if you don't kneel, you get investigated. Foxhall said the gesture in support of Black Lives Matter was something the referee instigates before a game. English Football League guidance states clubs should try to mutually agree an approach before each match. Match officials are briefed to facilitate any variation of requests. Players, officials, and staff at Premier League and EFL games have regularly taken a knee pre-match in recent months in order to show their support for the Black Lives Matter movement for racial equality. So, if you don't kneel, the league investigates you. This is beyond parody at this point. It's gone from kneeling is the outrageous thing, the thing that's not normal, to now those who don't kneel get investigated. Things have progressed in the UK past the point. I don't think in the U.S. I've ever heard of a sports league investigating a player who didn't kneel. How did it get that far in an English sports league? And the last bit of news, European related, is this amazed me when I read it. I was actually speaking the other day to some people about the closeness of the alliance between the United States, Britain, Australia, basically the Anglosphere countries. The English-speaking countries have a degree of cooperation on the military side that I'm just, historically, I've never seen anything closer. Where you have, you actually do have members of the British, the Australian and New Zealand and the Canadian military. If you go to the Pentagon, you'll find members of their armed forces actually in the Pentagon and also at our military bases. It wouldn't be unusual to find, say, British pilots training on the F-35 at, say, a naval air station in Virginia. Okay, so they just launched their first aircraft carrier that they've had in many years, and they've ordered the F-35 to fly off of that carrier, so naturally they train their pilots here where the F-35 is made. That's where we have F-35s to train them on. So we train British pilots that are going to fly the F-35 in Virginia. But apparently this cooperation extends so much that even Britain's nuclear submarines, I didn't know this, They dock in the United States ports and get maintenance done to their nuclear missiles. That's the holy of holies of all a country's national security secrets and assets. Nuclear weapons is the holy of holies. There is nothing. They guard nuclear weapons more severely and more completely than they do the president or the prime minister of the United Kingdom. And you have British nuclear missile subs basically getting maintenance done to their missiles at a base in Georgia. So let's read the story of this crazy incident where the officer in charge of the submarine's nuclear missiles, the weapons control officer, boarded for his duty shift, staggering drunk while clutching a barbecue chicken. I guess he went out for a night on the town down there in Georgia. On Monday, the UK Ministry of Defense confirmed a hugely embarrassing incident involving a security and operations lapse aboard the British nuclear submarine HMS Vigilant while it temporarily was docked during a mission at a U.S. naval base, specifically Naval Submarine Base Kings Bay in Georgia. The officer in charge overseeing the vessel's nuclear warheads arrived to his shift staggering drunk while strangely carrying a bag of barbecue chicken. The scene immediately sparked concern that the officer, later identified as Lieutenant Commander Len Lau, was not in a fit state to be in charge of nuclear weapons, as there was something seriously wrong, according to UK media reports. Let's see here. The alarmed crew then reported the incident up the chain of command, and the drunk officer was relieved of his shift immediately, and an investigation ensued. He was reportedly sent back to the United Kingdom. The BBC noted that as the weapons engineering officer on the submarine, he was responsible for all weapons and sensors on board. The sub is armed with Trident ballistic missiles and is thus subject to stringent safety and security measures. The submarine has been a source of controversy, especially since the start of the pandemic, given what have been described as multiple safety breaches and failure to adhere to the safety protocols. So apparently this particular ship has had a lot of issues, highly embarrassing issues, and let's see here. And more astounding, according to the Daily Mail, the Royal Navy officer had been preparing to start a shift during which they would offload the 16 nuclear missiles. So they were going to actually work with the nuclear missiles, and he showed up drunk for that shift, with each weighing 60 tons and having the combined power to kill almost the entire population of the United Kingdom. He reportedly clocked in for his shift after a full night of drinking aboard one of only 4 submarines that make up the UK's nuclear deterrent. The submarine is based out of Faslane, Scotland, and UK tabloids have sarcastically dubbed the vessel the HMS Sex and Cocaine due to recent scandals involving the crew partying hard while at port. A week ago, the nuclear sub was in the news due to a reported COVID-19 outbreak after crew members were caught breaking protocol rules to go to strip clubs and bars. In a rare communication, the UK Ministry of Defense press office appeared to confirm that indeed a safety-related incident had occurred on the nuclear submarine. So let's see what happened with the crew partying hard at these strip clubs in Georgia. Deep trouble. Scandal hit nuclear sub sees a quarter of its crew catch coronavirus after sailors breached rules to go boozing. A quarter of the crew of the scandal-hit sub, let's see, those on the 3 billion pound HMS Vigilant, were under orders not to leave quarters at the Kings Bay U.S. Naval Base. But they went to bars, restaurants, and strip clubs, sources say, even though Georgia and neighboring Florida are among the worst coronavirus-hit states in America. They're said to have traveled as far as Florida's Cocoa Beach, a 400-mile round trip from the base. Chiefs had insisted overnight leave was to be denied during maintenance work on the Trident II weapons. but at least 35 crew tested positive, including the doctor and executive officer, one of only 2 people with codes to fire the nukes. A source said they've been alongside for weeks and sailors do what sailors do. A message sent to those manning another nuclear sub said the crew at Kings Bay had breached their guidance and are now in the... I guess they're in the shit. Vigilant was dubbed HMS Sex and Cocaine after scandals involving drugs, and one that saw a captain and officer hauled off the ship for bonking female officers in 2017. Was that while the ship was underway? The captain was fraternizing with female officers in 2017? A Royal Navy spokesman said, "We do not comment on matters related to submarine operations." So this ship, I guess, while it's sitting there in Georgia, is combat ineffective. I hope Britain has another sub out there to be its nuclear deterrent, because this sub, while it's sitting there, you got a quarter of the crew has the coof. The weapons control officer is a drunk. And I guess the previous captain was having sex with his subordinate female officers on the ship. What? This is crazy. This ain't your father's Royal Navy. Anyway, I think we're gonna leave it there, guys. This is the stream's over 3 hours old. I've covered all the old stuff that has been piling up for a few days while we got overwhelmed with the Hunter Biden stuff. I mean, it's I wanted to get it out of the way. I didn't want to hold it over because then it just wouldn't make no sense to give you news that's a week old. I apologize if things went a little long today. So a lot of this stuff there is some of that was like from last week. So I've cleared the old tab pile. You can see all the you saw all the tabs that I had open there. It was like 30-some tabs that were open. I think it was 37 tabs in that second browser of stuff that I'd been keeping for you guys. But most importantly, it's for the most part, I'm guessing you guys didn't see a lot of that stuff, especially some of the stuff towards the end with with European countries. But anyway, we're just going to leave it there. That's going to be all for this NeoUnrealist. If you want to help the channel, look, do me a favor. You hit like for this video if you haven't already. Leave a comment below. That helps a lot with the engagement. And if you're not already subscribed, mash down on the subscribe button. Or if you are, check that you still are subscribed. And click on the notification bell next to that. Put it on the all setting if you want to get notifications. Otherwise, you're not going to get any. That's just the way YouTube rolls. But if you want to contribute directly to the channel and toss your hard-earned dollars into the tip jar, follow the links below to Patreon, Subscribe Star, PayPal. If you watch this on BitChute, you can just click on the green tip pledge button on the video player. I don't know, guys. If you guys if donations increase a lot, maybe we could do something about this potato, because I'm sure you guys have noticed that when you get a lot of tabs open, the thing slows down. But that generally I take care of that by just shutting down a lot. But because I tend to keep a lot of video open in those tabs, it just eats up. That's what it is. It just eats up a bunch of the available memory. And usually to clear up the memory, you just usually have to restart. So if you notice sometimes a slowdown, that's what the reason is. Where we're just waiting for the for the computer to grind through available memory. But again, so if you watch this on BitChute later on, typically you'll have a couple hour lag between when this uploads to BitChute. They make it easiest most of all. You can just click on the green tip pledge button there. If you want to contribute to the channel. I don't know why YouTube doesn't do it that way, but maybe it's because they like, and it's weird because YouTube takes a 30% cut of when you do stuff like that, whereas I don't even know. I don't think BitChute takes any. But for some reason, that feature they have implemented way better than YouTube. But most importantly, guys, the fact that you're here is most important. So thanks for watching.